It being 5 o'clock, the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of June 13, 2017 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, can we get roll call, please?
Mr. Jones. Ms. Posito. Mr. Grow. Mr. Melvin. Mr. Bourgeois.
Here.
Mr. Paraloo.
Here.
Mr. Oten. Mr. Lafont. Mr. Lorraine. And Mr. Cantrell.
Okay, if everyone please stand, the invocation will be led by Mr. Lorraine, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Jones. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Section A on tonight's agenda is approval of meetings. Number one, motion to accept the minutes of May 23rd, 2017 special session. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number two, motion to accept the minutes from the May 23rd, 2017 regular session. Can someone move? By Ms. Posito, second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? Mr.
Yes.
Lorraine.
I just want to bring this to your attention, Mr. Chairman. I didn't catch it at the time of the meeting, but if you go to page 1, a motion was offered by Ms. Posito to deviate to the unanimous agenda, which failed with one nay being that of Mr. Jones. First of all, you never took a vote of the council to go to unanimous agenda, and the one nay kills it. But I'm just bringing it to your attention, and I didn't catch it at the time. I caught it when I watched it back on TV.
Roger.
That's what's good about when you go back and see things. So I'm gonna vote against it because of this error. This is not what was said.
That's fine. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Passes 8-1.
I abstain. I wasn't here, so I don't know. Yeah, let me abstain too. I wasn't here. I didn't watch it.
All right, we're going to call it to vote one more time. All in favor? Aye. Put your hand up if you're in favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any opposed? 1 and 2. Mr. Orman, what was your vote? All right, 6, 1, and 2 abstentions. Passes. Section B, presentations and/or updates. Number 3, Parish President James B. Cantrell to present Employee of the Month Award and WOW Awards for the month of May.
Ms. Caroline Estes is going to present the awards. We have Employee of the Month, Kerry Thibodeau. Kerry has been with the parish for over 4 years. He's an IT analyst in Thibodeau. Comments from his nomination. I would like to nominate Kerry Thibodeau for Employee of the Month. He has gone above and beyond for this website upgrade and really did an amazing job. We all worked on it. It has done the most and has done outstanding work. I just wanted to take time out of my schedule, submit a request that he gets honored for it. Thank you, Kerry.
Congratulations.
There are 2 WOW recipients for May, Ms. Jennifer Dufresne in Recreation and Ms. Rachel Movon in Recreation, both in Matthews. Comment from the group nomination. I would like to nominate 2 of your employees for the job they have done with Recreation in Lockport. Our board was dissolved in October, and recently our director stepped down from his position the weekend before registrations were to begin. The LRD #1 Facebook page was taken down, and the parents were unaware of the open registration period. They extended the registration period to accommodate parents who were not aware of the registration. These 2 employees stepped up and assisted with whatever was needed in a very big way. Rachel Movon collected registrations at the Lockport Ballpark and at her office in Matthews. She broke down all the kids in their respective groups. For the Lockport area, we registered over 500 kids for the softball program and over 100 kids for the volleyball program. We recently named a new director for the Lockport area, and at the coaches meeting, Jennifer Dufresne assisted with the entire process. She also had to obtain a use of facility agreement with the school board and obtain insurance for the program, just to name a few. There was also all the phone calls in reference to the program from parents unsure of the future of the Lockport program. All of this while performing their day-to-day jobs for the entire parish. There's so much more that they have done behind the scenes to allow these programs to start on time. I can assure you that without these two individuals going above and beyond and doing all that they have done, we would not be starting our program on time, if at all. If they are not recognized for this award, please let them know that we are extremely thankful here in Lafourche for all that they have done for the kids in our area. The parish should be proud to have these two individuals as employees. Thank you, Jennifer and Rich.
Congratulations. All right, under presentations, item number 4, Mr. Greg Stock, CEO and Secretary of the Board, and Mr. Jake Giardina, Chairman of the Board of Thibodeau Regional Medical Center Hospital, Service District Number 3, to present an annual report. Welcome, sir. No, can you? Yeah.
Look, Mrs. Stock, no, look on the white button, there's a white button by your index finger. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it's a privilege to be here. Who's the person changing the slides? You are, can I? Okay, so she's still working on getting the slides up. If it's okay with y'all, I'll go ahead. Is that okay?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, so the report for Thibodeau Regional Medical Center for this last year, we hope that we can give a clear, concise report. I'd like to acknowledge Jake. He's our board chairman and been a really great board chairman for a long, long time. Jake came on the board in 1990, early in the year. I came to Thibodeau in the fall of 1990 on October 1st, and it's been a great experience. Part of our mission statement is based on values, and we try to keep that in front of us all the time. And then it's the challenge then is to try to walk the talk. So things like respect, integrity, innovation, excellence, accountability, and passion is something we added to our mission statement a couple of years ago. And just for one moment while that's coming up, I'll say that passion is something where we try to cultivate that in the culture of the hospital. It's all around the patient. So it basically means going above and beyond for patients. And we've collected now almost 900 passion stories from our staff. And these are great stories from every kind of situation you can imagine. It's not all directly clinical, many other things. And we use them. We start every board meeting with passion stories that are told by members of the staff. Any other meeting we actually bring up passion stories and discuss them. Helps us remember why we're there. And so I just wanted to mention that one little thing about our mission statement and the challenge we have to live up to what we believe in. Let's see if I can get this to work. Okay. I might need your help over here, young lady. Or you can change the slides. I don't know if this is on for sure. Oh, okay. Go to the next slide. Let me just dive right in. Over the years, we constructed a strategic plan after studying the needs of the area. We serve a 5-parish area. Most of the people come within 40 miles of Thibodeau, but many come from outside that area. And the goal was, what can we provide here locally that's needed in this area? So since Jake and I have come on the board, we've recruited over 100 doctors to Thibodeau. And here are some of the different kind of specialists that are now working there. It's been great because it's really been helpful to the population here that don't have to travel and go to other areas to get the care that they need. So if you'll change that slide, we'll go dip down into this a little bit. So this guy on the right is Parker. Parker's a pulmonologist. He's born and raised in Houma, Louisiana, trained at Auctioner and so forth. What we've seen with Parker and the other 2 pulmonologists that we recruited over the past 5 years is that they've really been helpful, for example, with lung cancer. Many other things they do, but identifying lung cancer early in the process, trying to educate people about that and treat them properly. It's really been great to have their expertise. Fudge and Gilmore, cardiovascular surgeons, probably people in this room that have had their hearts touched by one or two of these guys, right? Daniel, would that be true?
I would agree with you.
Yes, good, really, really good heart vascular surgeons. We're doing a lot of heart surgery now, way more than anybody in the region, and getting really great results with our heart surgeons. So Duplantis is a local kid. He grew up in Houma also. Great young guy. He's a pain management guy. Him and another guy that we recruited that is an interesting guy that fled Cuba when he was a little boy and came to Miami. They split the family up and brought part of the family to Louisiana, and he grew up in Houma, went to Nicholls State University, LSU Medical School, did his residency and fellowship, and he's a great guy also. Okay. So Fry is from Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Fry's really added some nice services to the area for people, and found a lot of thyroid issues and diabetes issues that he's been able to help people with. He's an endocrinologist. The last two, the Graber and Bourne, are from North Louisiana. These are young orthopedic surgeons that'll come to town in the next 60 days. Bourne actually is from Houma. Graber's from Shreveport. These guys are really young, exceptionally well-trained orthopedic surgeons. Graber will be the first surgeon, orthopod in this area that has a fellowship in joint replacement. Bourne is the second-hand guy that we've recruited over the past few years. So that's a little bit about some of the physicians that we've recruited. The development of clinical services takes its place around what we call care families, clinical care families. One of those is orthopedics and sports medicine. And so we've recruited the doctors, we've developed some outstanding, we think, athletic trainers that do all the athletic training for NSU. When Archie Manning and those guys come in next week, all the trainers are provided by us. And we bring 70 trainers in. We don't employ 70, but we bring 70 of them in for that event, as well as the linemen's camp that will also take place. I don't know if you've noticed the linemen's camp. That's an amazing event, probably the biggest one in the country. 500 high school age linemen come in. We have pros and stuff there that work with them. It's really a great event. But we do the training for all that in a lot of the high schools in the area. And so combined with that is rehab, and the new wellness center, for example, has a pool in it that's unique. The only one we ever saw like it is in Alabama. But that pool is exceptional. It has a treadmill in it. We can actually record the workout. You can put young athletes with ACL tears on it. You can put an old person who's had a joint replaced on it and really do some great work there. So that's a little bit on the orthopedic sports medicine. We deliver about 1,100 babies now. Try not to get too detailed here. The neurosciences, we've done a lot of work there. We have a great spine center that's a Blue Cross distinction center for cost and quality and patient outcomes and patient experience. Our partnership with our ambulatory surgery center, there's 18 physicians that are partners with us, has been exceptionally good, operated very, very well, very smoothly. We have a great relationship with those doctors and continues to excel. The home health program that we run is CMS, Medicare rates home health agencies with a star rating. And that's one of the few home care agencies in the country that has a 5-star rating. I think people maybe don't know enough about what we do for behavioral health. So we have an inpatient and outpatient behavioral health program, and we treat over 2,000 patients a year with that. Our cancer center is, I think, a really great cancer center. I'm going to show you a picture in a minute about how we plan to expand it. But there's accreditation at about 4 different levels for cancer centers. There's one that's an exceptional accreditation, and we have that for 3 times. Those are three-year accreditation cycles, and we've been at that very highest level. It's the only hospital cancer program in Louisiana that's had that 3 times in a row. So a few of them have had 1. We treat a lot of breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, head and neck lymphoma, and all those things. Do a lot of screenings. And we're right now installing about $5 million worth of new radiation therapy equipment. I don't know where I lost my picture of the new cancer center. Maybe it's later in the presentation. Just a little bit on the business side for a minute. We haven't had any tax millage since '92. We turned that back to the parish in '92. So everything that we've generated has gone back into buildings, facilities, recruiting doctors, and hiring staff. I think when I came here, if I remember right, we had about 200 employees. We now have 1,200. We have no debt. We've worked very diligently over the years to be fiscally responsible and at the same time provide equal amount of care to whether you're uncompensated patient or what you are. It doesn't matter to us. We treat everybody the same. And, okay, if you'll, thank you. So if you took the Chamber of Commerce type of numbers, and to me we took a more conservative number, if you say that a dollar turns over 4 to 7 times, would you all agree with that to some degree, that the multiplier would be 4 to 7? Go up here to the state government, they'll make it 9. But for every dollar that's spent in a community, those people take that dollar out and they buy food at restaurants, they buy tires for their car, they buy insurance, right? They have a car note, a home note, and all those kind of things, and that's how those dollars turn over. So we used a factor of 4. So what's a little deceptive sometimes is the impact that these physicians and their staff have. It's a pretty big one. And so all those doctors that have been recruited, their clinic employees, their salary is about $21 million, the physicians 50, so you have a total payroll there, 70+ million, and just using the lower estimate of a factor of 4, it's $284 million. You go to the hospital with 1,300 people, $75 million payroll, and then we took some of our building projects. If you average what we spent on buildings over the last number of years, it's about $23 million a year. And you multiply that by 4, you can see what that number is. You're doing a great job back there. Thank you for your help. So that seems like a number that's hard to believe, but again, we took a more conservative approach. It's not a factor of 7. You can take that number up quite a bit more if you use 7 as a multiplier. All right, I don't want to dwell on that. I just want to share it. So here's the new Cancer Institute. We're in the process of designing this facility right now. And what you're looking at is electronic rendering of the exterior of the building. And so we do a lot of cancer. We think that cancer is going to be something that's really going to need a lot of attention to in the coming years. People are living longer. The cancer incident rates are not necessarily going down. People are living who have cancer, but they need continuous treatment, so they're living longer once they get cancer. And so you're going to see, I think, a pretty significant service in the next 2 years, which is located right over there by the Wellness Center, and a big building that looks similar to the Wellness Center. On quality and the patient safety, these are big issues. I think the general public's trying to understand, where can I go where I find a place I can trust? Is the quality of care really good? And more stuff is being put out there by various agencies and organizations about the quality of care at hospitals. Here are a couple of them here. A company called Health Grades that gives star ratings for hospitals, and you see those 2 things there. One is the patient experience. What was it like to be treated there? Were people kind to you? Were they helpful to you? Was the food warm? Lots of questions that flow into that. The other is patient safety. So patient safety is a market basket of things like, did I get an infection while I was in the hospital? We call them hospital-acquired infections. Was there a surgical mishap? Something happened in surgery that was not good. Was there a medication error? And falls. Did the patient fall off the bed or fall in the hallway or somewhere and injured? So it's a broader spectrum than just falls that's measured in that. So what this says here, this is 4 years in a row of being in that top 5% in the country for patient safety and patient experience. Over on the right is a Women's Choice Award, which is kind of comes at it from women's healthcare. And here again, you can see the very best. Okay? So where we're going with things kind of internally, externally, you don't see this, but it's a critical factor in the survival of hospitals, is to take the performance that we have and up as much as we possibly can around what in our industry is being called the triple aim. So that's improving quality further, reducing the cost of providing care, and sustaining or achieving and sustaining high levels of patient experience. So in the future, we think that patients will make more of those choices themselves as they're informed. Where can I go where I'm going to get excellent clinical care? It's going to be some kind of reasonable cost. And that the experience itself is a good experience. It's not a bad experience, not go away unhappy with the care. So I'm going to share with you just for a moment a little bit what we call care transformation, part of the evolution of healthcare. Invariably, it comes to things like how do you engage the physicians in this? This is really a critical factor, and hospitals are wrestling with this, as how to get it, you put something together that the doctors are helping lead it, actually, and the administrative guys like me kind of step back a little bit. So what we've done is create these teams led by doctors. We put them on those teams. We put them in leadership positions. I was in a meeting early this morning. Mark Hebert, general surgeon, great guy, great surgeon. And he's leading one of our steering teams around some of this and doing an outstanding job. But there's other doctors on that team as well. And we bring the support staff in to support them. And then we've acquired 3 years ago an electronic database. So, a data warehouse, excuse me. So this warehouse is powerful, very powerful. And it brings all the data in from any source in our hospital. Clinical data, cost data, patient experience, any data. And then we have apps around clinical processes like AMI, myocardial infarction, around hips, around colon cancer, and things like that. And we go in there and we analyze that data very carefully. And we try to understand how to improve it. Then we adopt best practices from where we can get them. And we put it into play, and then we hold ourselves accountable, frankly, to move the dial to get better. And a lot of these cases we're already performing above these national averages, but we want to get better. So clinical process improvement is pretty challenging. If a physician is trained somewhere a certain way to do things, and then we say to them with our other physicians, look, you're not getting the results that we think we need to get. You know, that's where the rubber meets the road and conversations start. And what we've seen, especially the younger docs, we have quite a few of them, they're not bothered by this at all. They're very quick to embrace it. Some of the other guys, the older guys, it takes them a little longer to kind of get on the bandwagon. There are a few that don't get on the bandwagon. And, but moving the wagon train forward has really been a great event for us. You know what happens in that last slide? Could you go back for a second? That last bullet point is a huge byproduct of all that work. And it's the institutional knowledge and expertise that comes out of it. So the whole place, the staff, the doctors, and everybody else gets smarter, a lot smarter. And they gain a knowledge and expertise they didn't have before. We've been bringing physicians out from Thibodeau to various places and putting them in these leadership training meetings where stuff they never had in medical school, like process improvement, Six Sigma, Lean, and other process improvement methodologies. They tend to look at things in a very narrow way. Here you're looking at it across a whole spectrum. And then you're talking about how to improve it, and you're using data to drive it, and tools that are very powerful tools. And invariably, when these guys get in the room, they start seeing this stuff, that this is great. So these are some of our staff and some of our docs that have gone to these meetings, are very much engaged in them, and a really great, really tremendous bunch of people. I want to tell you this, that I cross paths just because of my position with people that are knowledgeable in our industry. I was in Boston last week at Partners Healthcare System. That's a huge system. It's Massachusetts General, Brigham and Women's, which is a Harvard hospital, and others. And, you know, we can honestly say that this hospital with these great people is down the road a long ways from a lot of them. And these third parties have verified that to us again and again. Okay. So here's a few, just really quickly, here's a few results. So the national death rate or mortality rate for sepsis is kind of a whole body infection, is 20%. 20% of people diagnosed in the average American hospital with sepsis die. Now we were, in 2014, we had worked on this and we had it down to 11.46. Since then, with our care transformation efforts, we've gotten it down to 8.5. I don't know who has it lower than that in the country. What that means is about 20 people who come in Thibodeau Regional live that wouldn't have lived if we performed at the national average. You with me on that? By improving it, 20 people per year live that wouldn't have lived if we'd have been performing just at the mean, the average. Look at this on cost, though. When you do better quality, you have lower costs. So there's actual savings to the facility in an era when reimbursement to hospitals has really gone down significantly, of about $300,000, $400,000 a year. And then we had pretty good patient sats. 87th percentile is not okay with us, by the way, but that's where we were. And we drove that up to top 1%. So really great results. So that 150 lives is over a couple of years, but let me keep going. I don't want to keep here people forever. So the culture of the hospital is not the culture of the Gulf South, which we love, but this is the organizational culture. It's something that we work on continuously. And the culture drives results. You guys know the old paradigm of somebody asked these Harvard guys who'd gone out, left Harvard and run these businesses, what are the three most important things to run in a business? One was strategy, one was operational excellence, and one was culture. Which of the three were most important? It all came back culture. So culture is kind of hard to define, but it does dictate your performance in the end. And we work at this. I work at this personally, to have a culture of excellence. That's a different culture than a mediocrity or poor performance is okay, things like that. The second thing is we try to speak to the emotional intelligence part of it, which is that people in their hearts, they want to be part of the team. They believe in what we're doing. And they can do things that no manager or somebody can tell them to do. Can't stand over them and say, do this and do that. They do it of their own volition, of their own choice. And when it's do it up at this level, they do the most amazing things. That's where those passion stories come in. So we survey our own employees around engagement. Are they engaged in the work and in their satisfaction? We use a big company, and we survey them about every 18 months. These are just some of the questions. Our total survey came in at the 96th percentile for our staff. So you can take things like this. Does this organization care about quality? Do I have the tools and resources to provide the best care? And is patient safety a priority? Those are acid kind of questions. That one down there sounds kind of soft, the one on the bottom, but it's really one of those key questions. Would I recommend this place? This is an employee to my friends or relatives. 96th percentile. Now this is a separate survey that just surveys the region. These are people who haven't used hospitals. This is a perception survey, telephone survey. We do this one too about every 18 months. And so, you know, you can see from 11, 14, and 16, those years where we have sustained that, we could, I think, honestly say we're the most preferred hospital in this region. We don't necessarily do that, but we're very interested in this, and we monitor it and watch any changes to it. We do it as much as we can in the communities in the area to support little bitty baseball teams or AAU basketball teams, or whatever cause that somebody has out there, we do our very best to support it. And we feel great about that, and we think it's important. So, you know, here's just kind of some of the list of things. Let's keep going. That's with the schools in the parish and what we did with the children around wellness, health and wellness. That was really a great effort. There's a lot more of that we want to do. So for a moment, if it's okay with you, I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, is talk about what we've tried to do, and that's be a leader with regard to health and wellness. So moving away from acute care, you know, where you're providing care to people that have an episode or they have trauma, to how can we get upstream on some of the issues that people face to help them avoid the downstream problems that occur when you ignore those things. And so we'd like to share this. Most of you, I think, hopefully have been in the Wellness Center. It's a 242,000 square foot building, $70 million facility. It actually more than that when you put the imaging costs in it. There's, to me, not one like it. That facility, there was no place to go to get a set of architectural plans that somebody had already done. We sat down with the architects and day after day, week after week, tediously went through how this service and that service would be located and how they relate to each other and what the experience would be. The original projection was that there'd be 1,400 people join it and that 5,500 people joined it. And that has sustained itself. There's an attrition rate of about 1 or 2%, and then others that join. So you gain that also. So it's around 5,400 where it's sustained itself. So I don't know how much to tell you about this. I want to bore you with this, but that building has, because of the way we have located things, creates the opportunity for us to integrate wellness with clinical care. An example of that is when Dr. Graber gets here. I'm meeting with him 2 days from now. Graber is the joint guy. When he comes in, and he's a very precise, very well-trained physician. If somebody needs to lose 50 pounds before they have their joints and their knee replaced, how do they do that? I mean, that's tough. And honestly, it's a huge challenge. Most of us really don't know how to do that. And we certainly don't know how to sustain it over time. And, you know, it's possible if you lost the weight, you wouldn't need the surgery for a while at least, right? That's true of a lot of these things. So here, we'll sit down with him. We are sitting down with him, and in a protocols, in a pathway, clinical pathway, we'll put wellness in there. And he'll have his input into it. And the data and the information relative to it, he'll have it on the front end. He will see the results. We can make adjustments to what we're doing and improve them, and that's concept is continuous improvement. And we're going to be able to help a lot of people in a better way. And you can go down through there. Not included in there are other things like cancer care. If a woman has breast cancer, the treatment is it's hard stuff. They might have radiation, surgery, and chemo, all three things. And how do you stay healthy in a deal like that? Suppose your health wasn't that great. The woman's health was not that great when she started. How does she come out of that or endure it? So we've already started that conversation with our medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, general surgeons, and so forth. Again, of putting the education and the workouts and things that are appropriate for those people together so that they can win. The building is really pretty neat building. It's very compact for what it is. It's you know, it's a LEED certified at the silver level, which is pretty high, and it has a lot less consumption of water and power and so forth. Okay, I'm almost done here. Don't throw rocks at me. I'm going to get out of here in just a second. The fifth floor of that building has a conference center in it. You can put it in 3 parts or 1. And we've had Archie Manning in there with all the coaches and athletic directors in the region. We had a fundraiser for LSU the other day. They had really some great people there, and that room had 440, I think, people in it. It was packed. It was a really great evening, and so on and so forth. Smaller groups, corporate groups, things that we do as a hospital where we bring our leaders in there and do training with them. That's been really nice. That's just an example of some of the stuff that's going on there. So education is important. There's some stuff to come. We kind of been swallowing the elephant in other ways because of the unexpected, somewhat unanticipated amount of demand. But there's some really great stuff coming around education that we're working on it almost every day. Let me keep going here. Employee wellness, corporate people, fitness center, there's $1.2 million worth of fitness stuff in there. Keep going. So that's the end of the presentation. I put you all to sleep. Anybody have any questions or comments that I tried to address?
Mr.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mrs. Stock, Mrs. Jordina, thank you for the fine job you're doing at Thibodeau Hospital. It's one of the greatest in the nation. Keep the good work up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jake and the board and Greg. October the 20th, 2008, I had 2 bypass done by Dr. Fudge. But I also want to touch on the nurses. It's like a family thing. They're all nice. Even the food was good. And you probably don't get that too often. But everybody treats you well. And the rehab, I think I see one sitting in the audience who was in charge. They do a fantastic job. And I would recommend anybody that needs to get a bypass. We have some great hospitals, but this would be one of the best. And take my advice. If you need it, go to Thibodeau Regional, and they'll help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you all. We appreciate the opportunity to come here and provide the update. And if we can ever do anything for you personally, I hope you'll let us know. Thank you
Mr.
very
Melvin?
much.
Just going to be a little redundant. I was a patient. My wife is a former employee and a patient. And I think what I enjoy most about even just going to have lunch over there is employees are very friendly. And it's like Zig Ziglar says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And I find there's a lot of caring going on over there, and it's a good culture.
Thank you.
Mr.
From the
LaFont.
heart.
I just want to thank y'all for the great job y'all doing. I think y'all are one of the prime economic engines of this parish, and we appreciate what y'all do. You know, I travel all over the place, and I talk about the hospital wherever I go because I think what y'all doing for our community and the local area of South Louisiana, I think y'all doing a great job. And we appreciate you going out and finding all the different doctors that we didn't have in this area because it sure does save for the elderly to have to travel to New Orleans or Baton Rouge or somewhere else and get the good care here that they need here in Lafourche Parish, not needing to have to travel to other states or other places to get it. But we appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Esposito.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Obviously, I would echo everything that they're saying, but on a personal note, Dr. Fry, the endocrinologist that you brought in, you saved me so much trouble going to Baton Rouge for me and my son's thyroid condition. And he was also, you don't have to leave town to find great care because he also, you know, changed the way we were being taken care of and did some things that someone else should have probably done a long time ago. And the Wellness Center, I've been there from the beginning. My family's been there from the beginning. And y'all did a great job responding to all of the extra people that y'all weren't expecting.
Thank you.
I mean, that was a quick response. So thank you for all you do with that. And the board, y'all do such a great job. So grateful to have you in our community.
Thank you so much.
And I've had a procedure done there as well and was very, very satisfied with that service. So we appreciate you gentlemen coming out and giving us this presentation. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Being none?
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And before we move on, I'd like to recognize a few people that's in the audience. Mr. Doug Sheremy with the Louisiana State Attorney General's office is here visiting tonight. Mr. Mike Boudreau, the new voter registrar for Lafourche Parish, and Ms. Annette Fontana, the Lafourche Parish Clerk of Court. They're all in attendance here tonight, so thank you all for being here. So we're moving on to Section C, Engineers and Architect Reports. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. Dustin Rabelais, representing T. Baker Smith, 1100 South Acadia Road, Thibodeau. I have a couple projects I'm gonna run through, and I guess I'll just take the questions at the end for all of them. The first one is something you have on the agenda tonight. I believe it's resolution item number 45. This is to enter into an agreement with TBS to study the Phase 3 of the Mississippi River Long Distance Sediment Pipeline. I don't want to really get into it too much. Your CZM director, Ms. Amanda Voisin, is also here. I don't want to steal her thunder. So, you know, I'll leave it at, but I do plan on staying until resolution item number 45 for this particular project. Next. West Side Drainage Improvement Project. We have, as you know, we had taken bids on this project a couple weeks ago. It came in approximately about $180,000 under budget. Nevertheless, we have a pre-construction meeting to be held this Friday to get things kicked off. Big action item is going to be the issue of notice to proceed. Probably would have done that. However, they can't do any of this work around St. Genevieve Church in the rain. So we just trying to get the weather right for them to assist them. Next. Waverly Road. All of our survey work is complete. We're beginning the hydraulic analysis. You know, as I said before, it's easy to determine what your capacities in those ditches need to be today, but we need a plan on 20, 30, some odd years down the road when all that area is developed. So that is also underway. After that is done, the only remaining part will be Terracon needs to come take a soil boring so we can look at soil conditions and see what can or can't be done. And all of that will get tied together maybe in another 30, 40 days or so. Next. Cyprian Pump Station. We've met with the parish administration a few times. Fortunately, I think we're all on the same page as far as the layout, how everything's going to fit in there, why it needs to be certain ways. Can you go to the next slide? Essentially, what we're going to do is the new pump station will be basically located on the footprint of the old one, except we're going to back it up as far as we can out of the 40 Arpit Canal and butt it right up against an existing bulkhead that is already out there. And I think everybody feels good. This is the layout to move it forward. Additionally, we've also been doing a lot of abstracting and a lot of work on just finding out, you know, the specifics on the pipeline right away. That's also still in progress. I have to meet with the administration this week, hopefully on that. The permit for this project, still probably about 25, 30 days out. The Army Corps of Engineers did request some modeling results in terms of what would that do to the Bayou Falls, you know, water surface elevation when we kick all these pumps on. So we're working on those modeling results. I don't anticipate any problems with that at this time. And we're also working on some technical drawings to get over to Terracon so they can start their analysis and figure out, you know, bulkhead depths and pile loads. This is just simply a cross-section of that pump station and how it's all going to kind of fit together. Still feel the budget is going to remain the same, and I still feel as though we're on the original timeline to be advertising this project around the winter timeline, which would be great. Okay, East Side drainage improvements. Last time I was here, you know, I was waiting on the acceptance letter. I felt good that it was going to come in. If you could go to the next slide. I'm happy to tell you this is it. I actually got this letter a few moments right before the council meeting, but I didn't want to say anything about it because I hadn't had a chance to review it. But we are in that program. So this is a really large capital improvement project in Lafourche Parish that's going to go a long way to assist the people down the bayou, mainly between East 39th and East 94th. It's about a $5 million award. So it's a pretty big project nevertheless. And I did meet with DOTD last week on this, and they are ready to things get kicked off. So I will be meeting with the administration also on this project to just kind of talk our way through this, and because there are a few agreements we're going to have to get set up between Lafourche Parish and DOTD. Next slide. I think that might be it. That's it. Okay, with that, any questions?
I got one.
Mr. LaFont.
Dustin, first of all, I want to thank you for this. With all these recent rains, we've been having a lot of trouble in this area. You can ask Mr. Barnes, the phone calls we've got in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and a lot of it has to do with this project. Thank you for doing all you've done to get this project rolling. Also got to thank the drainage district. They played a huge role in it also, and hopefully we can get it started quickly because, man, we need some reprieve back there. The drainage is horrible.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know, Drainage District 1, under the direction of Mr. Albert Guidry, have been instrumental in doing this. You know, there is a cost share. The cost share for this project compared to capital outlay is 25%, but this program, we only have to come up with 10%, but we still have to come up with the engineering fees and other things, and you know, it's a large sum of money, and Drainage District 1 has already said that they will participate 50% of the cost, and they have set that money aside. Lafourche Parish Council has also already voted to put up the majority of your cost share as well. So the money is there to begin, and without delay, we're going to get this thing moving. So,
Mr. Melvin.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dustin. About Cyprian Pump, I know that seems like y'all finally got the layout straight, but I was just concerned about the delay, not the layout. But I mean, I know it all goes hand in hand, but I'm sure you'd agree the most important part of any project of getting something going is money and probably then permits, correct?
yeah.
Roughly? Yeah. So we've had the money. So you're estimating going out for bid this fall, winter?
Winter, November, October, November, December. I always hate to say until the geotechnical analysis is done, because after that, you know,
Yeah,
if
'cause
you
we
find a major problem in there, it could get pushed back.
Okay, thanks.
But I don't anticipate that.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Dustin, West Side Drainage Project. Friday, you say we have a pre-construction meeting.
Yes, sir.
Can I attend that meeting?
I have no problem with that, absolutely.
What time would that be in place?
I'll get you the information.
All right, thank you.
And we're really just having that because, you know, remember, we're doing a lot of work around St. Genevieve Church. And so, you know, if the weather is to continue, we might be having to construct this project while school's in session. So, and look, Byron Talbot can't control the weather. So I just want to start talking through a few what ifs versus dealing with it a week before school starts. So.
All right, thank you, Dustin.
Thank
We
y'all.
appreciate it. Any other engineer, architect reports? Being none. Section D, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers' Reports, Presentations, or Updates. Number 5, Mr. James Barnes, Director of Public Works, to present a presentation. Kind of redundant to present a presentation.
Good evening. This here is a bayou bus at the south levee, replacing a culvert that was totally collapsed. Next, please. The Shack Bay North Levee, recapping the levee, cleaning the levee canal. Choctaw South Levee, cleaning the levee canal. George Drive ditch, cutting the grass behind the Layton Pump Station Villa. Martinez Pump Drive, trash from the pump. This here was some debris that was thrown into a pump station that the pump picked up, and we burned up a pump. Movant Elsie Highway 304 intersection, trying to unstop some culverts to get some water moving. Sugar Ridge East, installing the hydraulic pump. We had borrowed that pump during the construction of another pump station, so that's the pictures of it getting put back in, and it really helps that area when it's in that location. The 40 open ditch before and halfway completed. Abbey ditch clearing the right of way. That's another Abigail ditch, clearing of the Abigail ditch, getting it ready to dig. Bayou Blue Bypass Road, clearing the trees along Bayou Blue Bypass Road. The Country Club ditch before and after. David Drive, cutting the grass to start digging. 4 Point Drive levee, clearing the fallen trees out of the drainage canal. Marcella Drive, clearing the rear ditch. X Bypass Road right away, clearing the drainage ditch. Bayou Bend Drive, cleaning some culverts and removing the grass in the roadside ditches. Bobcat Levee, chopped the levee and kind of leveled it out. Butch Hill, cleaning around the pump station. Lake Long Drive levee, cutting the grass. Fantastic Acres outfall, sweeping the outfall canals. Jesse Dufresne Pump Station, installing some trash screens. Cohan Street, clearing fallen trees out of the drainage ditch. Lockport Field Office, making the sandbags. Reed Toops Levee, repairing the gate valves. That's in the main part of the levee that protects the gains. Had a bad gate valve there. Robichaux right-of-way digging the drainage ditch. It's outfall canal. Highland Drive outfall canal, sweeping it out. Kirk Chasson's outfall canal. LeBlanc Drive, cleaning the ditches. Moore Drive, cleaning the ditches. Pelican Drive, cleaning the roadside ditches. Valentine Old Pump Station, cleaning the screens. East 37th Street, cleaning the ditches. East 43rd Street, digging the street side ditches. East 43rd. East 67th, installing some new culverts. Kenny Cowet's cleaning the right-of-way to dig the outfall. East 172nd Street, building the catch basin along the street. Jody LaRousse digging the outfall canal. Mobley Levee after cutting the grass. Serenade Levee, cutting the grass on the levee. West 151st Street, cleaning the culverts. West 163rd Street, repairing the sinkholes in the street. Caroline, can you hold right there a minute? Y'all notice the roller on the asphalt patches right there that the council just approved? We did not have the equipment to do this in-house, so thank y'all. Next, please. West 213th Street, digging the street ditches before and after. David Drive and Madeline Street, I would like y'all to see this. We have a tremendous problem with the concrete trucks in this parish. They find the catch basins, and that's filled up with concrete. We've already jackhammered it out, but it fills up the culverts and the catch basins. Next, please. This is Talbot and Renee Drive. Somebody decided to take some sacks of concrete and barricade their own culvert off to hold the water back on the street. So that's been removed. Thank y'all.
Any questions for Mr. Barnes?
I do.
Ms. Lucy?
James, you mentioned that there was debris that burnt up one of the pumps in my district. does that pump not have a trash screen, like the one you put in at Jesse Dufresne Pump?
They have trash screens, but this here was thrown, apparently somebody made it a vindictive type situation. They threw it in right around the pump, and the screens on the bottom of the pumps, when it kind of disintegrated, it went up into the pump itself.
So are you saying it was vandalized?
I'm just saying somebody threw something after the screen and before the pump, so the screen wouldn't have protected it. Somebody made a point to throw whatever was in there. It didn't go through the screen, so somebody made a point.
And that
to-
was, it looked like cables or
Yes,
wires or,
yes.
okay. And any movement on the Manchester Manor pump that's sitting in Thibodeau Barn?
Not yet. We're gonna be trying to locate the proper place to put it, acquire a right-of-way, and then we're going to put in for a core permit. None of this has been, done before. So we're trying to get it in the right spot, acquire a right-of-way, and we gotta get a permit from the Corps of Engineers.
So what's happened so far? Has the
We-
right-of-way been investigated, or?
Yes, we're looking in the best appropriate area to put it. We've got a pretty good feel where it needs to be, but we're still researching it. And then we've got to put in for a core permit.
Okay.
Mr. Rotan.
Yeah, James, I want to thank you for making that inquiry on my behalf and my constituents to Miss Sandy Guidry with Angela and Pisciola on the flood wall project. I'm disappointed that she didn't make it here tonight, although I know she responded late this evening saying she'd be here at the next meeting. But if any of the constituents are here, or if they're watching this on TV, I do want to make them aware of what some of the responses that she's given, which is that on June 5th, she stated that she would have something to that administration this week on phase 2, which is the T-Bar pump station upgrades. And so I'm hopeful that that would happen this week. I'm also hopeful that the administration will put the fire under them to really move these projects along. Going back through my notes, I started making inquiries in March of last year, although I've seen it goes back all the way to 2015 about the drainage in that area in conjunction with the flood wall. So they built the flood wall, they built the levee. There's been no improvements to drainage. We know that it's been very slow in improvements to the pump station. But correct me if I'm wrong, so as of right now, phase 1 was fully completed, which is the flood wall. They built the levee around the area.
Correct.
Phase 2 will be, from what she's saying, will be pump station improvements.
Correct.
And then phase 3 will be drainage improvements in the area. Is there any way to push them to have phase 2 and phase 3 done at the same time simultaneously? Since it's been a year, we've been talking about this. And once again, I'm talking about all the residents on Chester Street, Gemini, Industrial Park Road, Hamilton Street, La Village, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really tough area. I know there's a lot of other tough areas in my district, but that one in particular, for over a year, we've been wanting to know what's going on there. So any way you can help us, anything you can do to push us along, any other engineers need to get involved in this, what can we do to make this happen?
As soon as we get a cost estimate of what they're gonna spend on the pump station in phase 2, I think shortly after that, we ought to push them to start phase 3. And also, just to let you know, there is money in the budget to put, the parish is gonna install another pump there, besides this grant. So we're gonna try to push this along, and yes, she has been delaying. Carol can verify that. After we got the numbers together, we've been working, trying to get this thing pushed along since January. So,
I appreciate that, James. So anything y'all can do in the interim, I know y'all are trying to get them outfalls and some other things corrected, but seeing all those streets underwater over and over and over is getting old, and so just keep pushing them. That's all I can ask of you. I appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Mr. Melvin.
Real quick, Mr. James, thank you, your staff, and especially also Ms. Marie. I know I've emailed you, and we're working on some things. I just want to mention, X bypass, Marcella Drive. There's some other things we need to look at, but the screen on Thoroughbred, I put it on my wish list. It's getting pretty shoddy, and the boards are like coming a little loose, and 1 or 2 boards come loose, stuff can really get in the pump. And also, we have to address the concrete in the ditch with some of these companies or whatnot, however this is happening. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right, and Mr. James, can you give me a quick update on the drainage project for my district, Central Lafourche Drive and Lafourche Drive, please?
Yes, sir. I've had the meeting with Casper with BKI. We discussed some hydraulic studies on it. And now they're wanting to do, some topoling and some engineering work to see what, corrections that can be done. But we're in steady negotiations and trying to push this, forward.
Okay, because, yeah, it's ugly back there. I mean, the water sits, seems like there's no drainage, going on because the residents are so close to flooding every time it rains.
But also to let you know, on the back of Central Lafourche, we did finally acquire the right-of-way
Okay.
to add an extra outfall ditch back there that's gonna help, Lafourche Drive and Lafourche Drive.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. LaFont?
Jane, just to reiterate what Nooney said on that project. I know it was, to me, I felt like it was done backwards. I felt the drainage should have been done first and then the levee. But then again, if we'd had a storm, then we would have felt the other way around. But, man, if we could make them, like he said, really work on phase 2 and 3 at the same time, I think it would help out a lot. Because those people, every time it rains, I don't care if it's 1 inch we've been getting, I think we got 6 inches yesterday again in that area. So if we can push that along really quick, if we can, I don't care what it takes, we need to make that happen. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. The next presentation is Ms. Hillary Knight DeTilia, Animal Shelter Manager, to present her report. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Hillary DeTilia. I live at 120 Catherine Street in Lockport. I am the animal shelter manager at the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter. You have this video? Can you play this little video? Yeah. I'm just here to present some numbers to you guys, increase general awareness about this shelter, and recognize some of our partners. This little video that's playing for you guys right here, this is a short clip of what goes on every single Friday at the shelter. We call this Rescue Run Fridays. We started this in March. This is mostly to invite community volunteers to come out, get involved, get excited about volunteering, and then hopefully in turn they go out and get their friends and family and coworkers excited about adoption and excited about the shelter in general. It's really turned out to be a bigger success than I could have even imagined. The community is super excited about it. The animals obviously enjoy it, and the staff always appreciates the extra help. You can make that like that. So if we can look past these furry friends and these slides, stay on there. Go back, Carolyn. I think that's where my job really lies, and that's with the owners, the pet owners of this parish. The way I see it, my job is to make people happy through their pets by creating a safe and inviting atmosphere at our animal shelter. In the past year, we have become active PetSmart and Petco adoption partners. We even have cats housed at PetSmart 7 days a week in Houma. That's something that's never been done before by our shelter. We have implemented a volunteer orientation to attract more volunteers. We encourage volunteers to try fostering. In the past year, we've met over 200 new volunteers at the shelter. We've partnered with Girl Scout troops who have come out. We even had a big group from the Coast Guard come out for a whole day at the shelter a couple months back. In 2016, we helped approximately 1,200 Lafourche residents spay and neuter their own pets. In the past year, we've partnered with approximately 90 rescue groups and shelters across the country through various transport efforts, and with the financial help of Hail Mary Rescue specifically, we've been able to send animals as far as New York and even Connecticut. As of June 1st this year, we have placed 323 animals with local adopters. You can. Even with all these life-saving efforts, animal intake continues to rise. So you guys can see that on the graph here. The top part would be to June 1st last year, the bottom being to June 1st this year. And I just want to point out specifically, we have a big cat problem in this parish. Our spay-neuter program has really reached the dog population in the community, but cats reproduce so quickly that we're always playing catch up. And we're going to be reorganizing our spay-neuter program to hopefully be able to reach more cats in the community. Owner surrenders are also on the rise. This is a trend that you can see across the South with the falling economy. In 2016, we took in over 3,100 animals. We obviously aren't going to see that number decrease this year. We've already, almost reached half of that. As an open intake facility for the parish, that means we take in strays picked up by the sheriff's office. We hold animals for cruelty investigations. We take in stray animals found by the public, and we take in any owned animals that can no longer be cared for by only Lafourche Parish residents. What I want to point out to you guys is increased intake and in turn increased adoption also means increased vet bills. We have recently applied for a grant from PetSmart Charities to help fund a small on-site vet clinic. By the second year of building this clinic, we could be saving the taxpayers approximately $44,000 a year. In addition to saving money, we would be providing better quality care for the animals, in turn adopting out healthier animals to happier citizens. This year, Terrebonne Parish opened a $5 million animal shelter about 10 miles from our shelter in Thibodaux. So we are constantly competing for adopters. This clinic could open the doors to other grant funding opportunities, like spay and neuter, community outreach, heartworm treatment, those kind of things. There's a lot of money out there that we just haven't tapped into yet. If you guys have been out to our current facility, obviously it's aging. It's not properly equipped for the number of animals that come through the door each year. We're constantly operating at capacity, and the aging building will only continue to cost more and more money to repair. This tiny building, this is just a picture of another shelter that had the same exact thing, needed just an on-site quick fix. It's a 12 by 24 building, will have to be the very last addition that we can fit onto our small property. If we were to ever move to a new location 5-10 years from now, this medical building could serve as a low-cost spay and neuter clinic for the community, a second clinic for shelter use. It could be used for emergencies, and obviously the building can be moved. It's really tiny. Again, this is pending a $45,000 grant from PetSmart Charities. So if you guys haven't been out to the shelter in a while, I invite y'all to come out, especially on a Friday morning when we have a lot of volunteers out there, when the sun's shining. It makes for a really good morning. See the improvements we've made. I promise you will meet some of the hardest working women you've ever met in your life. Please come to me with any questions or concerns that y'all constituents have, or any phone calls y'all may get. I'd be happy to help.
Okay, Mr. Grow, you have a question?
Yes, thank you for all the work you do. I mean, I've been there. It's amazing what y'all do in that small little place. And I have a rescue dog, and he's awesome. So I highly encourage anybody that wants a pet to look there first. My question is, you mentioned real quickly that in your presentation that y'all taking some in because of the economy. And when we went with the Mayor for the Day program, we took some students there. I did notice on one of the tags, like, couldn't afford or something like that. You seeing a lot of that? I mean, is that like every week you're picking up people say, I can't afford a dog?
We've seen about double owner surrenders from last year to this year. And I mean, it could be, it does have a lot to do with the economy. It could be because people think that this positive image we've got that their animals are going to automatically be adopted. But a lot of it is, I can no longer afford my pet. And that's something that we're going to be targeting next year, is trying to get to people before they get to the shelter door, helping them out before they have to actually turn in their animals.
And once they go through the process of being evaluated, it doesn't take too long for you to put them up on, I guess, Facebook's the way y'all mostly, or Twitter?
Yeah, we use a lot of social media. We also use Pet Finder, and that kind of, you can search by zip code, so it broadens our span a little bit, but social media is is our biggest hit for sure.
Mr. LaFont?
You said you have a large, you're getting a problem with cats. I know the town of Grand Isle participates in some kind of, I guess, grant where somebody pays them, and I know they neuter, because Grand Isle had a problem with cats too, and I think they got it under control. Is there anything maybe we can help out with, or have y'all looked into any program where we could do that?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking into a lot of things. Like I said, this building in particular, if we can just get a building to put a vet in. Right now, we're paying a vet per service, so it's really not, it's not feasible to just go out and fix 1,000 cats. But if we had a vet that could fix 10 cats every day, you know, then we can start looking, getting this under control and getting some funding to make that happen. So.
All right, and you're saying y'all don't have land to put any, doesn't the parish own all that land right there by the jail and all that? Isn't that all our property? I know the jail property is our property. Why can't we reach out and use some of that property? I think property shouldn't be a problem in that area, because we do own lots of property. Another thing with the jail there, and I know it's not the time now because the new jail's not finished, but maybe in the future, and I think y'all doing a great job. The improvement from when I first got elected on this council today has been tenfold.
Thank you.
But maybe in the future, when they open the new jails, if we can work in some kind of program, like I know they got pit bulls and parolees or something like that, where you can get jail people to start taking care of animals. That might be it.
Absolutely.
Do y'all ever get any help from the trustees?
We do. For the most part, we get a trustee every day.
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the good work you're doing.
Right.
Keep it up. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very
all.
much for your presentation. All right, Section E, questions for the administration, Session 1. Being none, moving right along. Section F, council reports, presentations, updates, and our questions, Session 1. Being none, moving right along. G, legal advisor reports, being none. Section H, public wishing to address the council, Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Michael Boudreau, if you'd approach the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Boudreau, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, people. My name is Mike Boudreau, 1721 Lynn Avenue, Thibodaux. I just want to come and reassure y'all and give you my honesty and appreciate y'all voting for me and appointing me to the position of Registrar of Voter. On my second day on the job, I was sworn in Friday night by our Lafourche Parish Clerk, Miss Annette Fontana. My second day on the job today, I took a little ride to Galliana. We do have obstacles and procedures we need to look at and changes we need to take care of. But just again, I just want to thank y'all again for appointing me. Appreciate it. Thank y'all all.
All right, Mr. Boudreau.
Chairman.
Any questions? Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Boudreau,
Yes,
we want
sir.
to welcome you to the parish for the register of voters.
Okay.
I was going to have something on the agenda next meeting for you, but you here and save time and mileage. I'd
Okay.
like to, if the council don't mind, present that proclamation to you tonight while you're here.
Okay.
If that's all right, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ms. Carter, you read?
Proclamation, Parish of Lafourche, whereas requested on behalf of Councilman Jerry Jones, the Lafourche Parish Council wishes to congratulate Mr. Michael Boudreau as Register of Voters, and whereas at the May 23, 2017 Lafourche Parish Council meeting, the council appointed Mr. Michael Boudreau as Register of Voters, and whereas the Lafourche Parish Council wishes Mr. Michael Boudreau success as he embarks on his new career, therefore, be it resolved by the Lafourche Parish Council convened in regular session on June 13, 2017, that the council wishes to congratulate Mr. Boudreau as being appointed as the Registrar of Voters and wishes him many, many years of success. On behalf of the Lafourche Parish Council, we do hereby set our signatures and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Lafourche Parish Council, State of Louisiana, this 13th day of June, 2017, Matthews, Louisiana, and every councilman signed it.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming tonight.
Gordon? Mr. Chairman?
Mi-
Does anybody, in our packages, there was a NACO newspaper. Does anybody
Yes.
have that with them? I left it at No, not that. Is it the newspaper that comes sometimes?
I didn't bring it
Okay.
with me, no.
All right. There was an article on mobile voting units I wanted to share with. Yeah, that.
Okay.
All right, next.
Mr. Earl Woods, Jr., if you'd approach the podium, sir, state your name and address for the record. Mr. Woods, please remember you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Earl Woods Jr., 301 Highland Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I had 3 items, but 2 of them I can discuss with Mr. Jones later. I'm a resident of Thibodaux. I've been back in Thibodaux for 2 years. I was in Baton Rouge for 18 years, and I have 3 kids in high school. And I've contacted Thibodaux High, Lafourche Parish School Board, and Nicholls State University, and none of these places in the parish offer free ACT tutoring or testing. And we have a low rate of ACT scores at Thibodaux High. I don't know about Central Lafourche and South Lafourche, but if we want, like the gentleman said, for our dollar to keep generating 4 to 7 times in the parish, we have to give back to the students. The ACT test, they have honor roll students are only scoring 17 on this ACT test. It's a lot of them. So I'm asking the council, do you have any funds to help me to start a ACT testing, pre-testing, and tutoring for Thibodaux High students in the summertime, and if we miss this summer right here, beginning for the Christmas break? Can the parish council assist in that?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Jones, go ahead.
And Ms. Wood, you have to go through administration for that. They're the only one can come up with a supplemental, but they have to get another opinion from the district attorney, because I think we was doing that, and it was cut out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But the administration is the only one can do that.
And I'm new at this, so the parish council administration, who do I talk to?
The parish president and his administration.
Okay. So I
The
can,
parish president is absent tonight.
okay. So start with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with like the contact for Jimmy Cantrell, and it'll be routed to the proper channels, I think, if you're just doing like a broad approach, trying to get some help on that.
Okay. And they had that before, but it got cut out.
Well, it had different organizations doing different things for kids during the summer,
Okay.
and it was cut out.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Mr. LaFont, you have a question?
Yeah, who's the school board members in that district? That's the ones I would contact.
Okay.
I'm not sure who's the school
Reverend
board.
Boyd.
Reverend Boyd, who else? They gotta have more than one, there's 15 for the whole parish.
You have, I see you have a Chack Bay Cajuns. Greg Stahl, do you live in Chack Bay? Greg
No, I
Stahl
live
would
in the
be-
Merridale
Merridale.
subdivision, but I'm from Chack Bay.
Good shirt.
Yeah.
If y'all could tell them the names, y'all know the school board members in Thibodaux? Can y'all, or any school board member? Y'all know the names? I don't know them offhand.
Yeah, Reverend Boyd is District 3. District 1, I think, is Mr. Thibodeau, Louis Thibodeau.
I don't know what district, but Brooke Huddleston.
Brooke who?
Huddleston.
Huddleston?
Yes, sir. And it's, of course, all on the school board website in case you numbers and contact.
Mr. Otam?
Yeah, I think that's a noble gesture on his part. And my question is, couldn't the library come up with some kind of a program? I know they have funding, they have the locations, the resources.
That's a great point.
I I would think the library would be a good avenue, and I would hope that they would be more than willing to help on that.
Okay.
Library liaison, he can, pass it on to him right here, Mr. Daniel Lorraine.
I would appreciate it. I will.
All right, thank you for bringing that important message to us. And,
Anything else you needed? Are you gonna call me or?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a call.
Here my number right here.
Okay.
Okay, and do we have someone else? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Section I, ordinances for discussion and ratification. None on that section. Section J, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. Can we get a motion to open it? Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Lafont. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so Section J is now open. Number 7, ordinance authorizing Lafourche Parish government to purchase the properties located at 106 Mercer Road and Delta Farm Road boat launch in La Rose from Geneva Marie Guidry Mercer in the total amount of $310,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer a purchase agreement, act of sale, and any and all relevant documents necessary to acquire said property. Do we have any comments on this item from the public?
He moves on it, I second it.
Oh, you,
I move.
I second.
okay. We do have comment from the public on this. Mr. Buster Avera. Please state your name and address for the record.
Buster Avera, 412 East 73rd Place, Cutoff, Louisiana. Thanks for letting me speak. I'll try to be brief. I'm a member of 2 fishing organizations in the 10th Ward, the Cutoff Fishing Club and the South Lafourche Bassmasters. That's about 100 total members. One of the best places to fish in our area is the Clovelly area. And I fished there religiously until the Clovelly boat launch was closed. That was a public launch that was sponsored by the parish. When that happened, I became aware of the Mercer boat launch on the Intercoastal Waterway as a means of getting over there. That took about almost an hour to run from there to Clovelly, but it's the closest launch for me. Otherwise, I'd have to drive a couple of hours to Lafitte, an hour to Des Allemands, or somewhere else just to launch and get over there. If you're for this ordinance, thank you very much. We fishermen need it. And I fish about 100 to 150 days a year, so I know what I'm talking about. This is a great launch so that you could access Lake Salvador, Lafitte, Bayou Perrot, Little Lake, Bayou Lafourche, west toward Homa. There are all kinds of, Lake Cotahuachi, I can go on and on. These places are all accessible from the Mercer launch, which is the closest launch for us. If you're not for this ordinance, which, I'd implore you to reconsider, because we haven't had a launch in the La Rose area except for the Highway 24 launch, which is on the west side of Bayou Lafourche, since Mercer closed. And the Highway 24 launch, while you can launch there and get to the Intercoastal and go wherever you want to go, you have to go under the Highway 24, the little bridge there. And if you've got a boat that has a center console or a kangaroo or, something that's kind of high, you can't get under that bridge. Sometimes I can't with my bass boat, even when, though I'm low profile because the water's high. So, the only other choice I had recently to be able to fish in Clovelly was to buy a $400 a year pass to launch at the Clovelly launch. And that's pretty expensive. You've got to fish there 7 times a month throughout the year to get your money's worth. Okay, if you consider like a $5 boat launch fee. So I'm just asking y'all to reconsider, if you're not for this ordinance, to vote for it. Because we fishermen, and I'm speaking for commercial fishermen and recreational fishermen who used the Mercer launch in the past, to please consider voting for the ordinance.
Didn't I see you Saturday at the
yes,
at the weigh-ins and
We had Cutoff Fishing Club had its annual rodeo at the Cutoff Youth Center. Yeah, I saw you there.
Yeah, I played a little music for those guys. They had a full house out there.
Great.
That was great. Good turnout. Mr. LaFont?
Yeah, I'm just want to reiterate what Mr. Buster said, and their organization, not only do they use the boat launch a lot, they also give back to the community also, their organization. But gentlemen, I'm just going to ask y'all to please support it. We haven't had, it's $400 to use the global boat launch now. And like you said, you have to use it 7-8 times a month to even make it feasible. If you don't have that boat launch to get to to Little Lake, it's a good hour boat run. If you're in a fast boat. With a slow boat, it might take you 2-3 hours. If you don't have that, you can launch in Lockport, which is in great needs of a lot of work now, and I hope the parish works on it, and I hope we can do something in the future. You have to go there, and that adds another 30 or 40-minute ride on your boat. Or if you go all the way, the next closest boat launch would be all the way in south of Golden Meadow at the Tidewater Canal. To get all the way around, you're looking at a 3-hour run, maybe a 4-hour run. So it's needed. The Clovelly boat launch, when I was using it a lot, during hunting season and fishing season, it was easy to see 100 cars there, 100 boats. A lot of them, people from other parishes spending money in our parish. I think it's a way to bring fishermen down. That area is one of the prime fishing spots of the whole state, especially for bass, freshwater. And if you go a little south in Little Lake, you can catch speckled trout all day long. But also, I talked to a bunch of crabbers. The expense that it's putting on them to have to pay that. It cost a crab $1,000 to use Clovelly boat launch. Commercial fishermen have to pay $1,000. So the expense on them is hardship also. But I appreciate y'all's support. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Melvin.
Real quick, I represent Thibodeau and Raceland, but I'm from LaRose. I used to launch on the Delta Farm Road, go fishing a lot. Here's what it comes down to when you look at things. We don't have Clovelly anymore, so if you want to fish Clovelly, you got to go to Lafitte. That's going through Gretna. Okay, how many hours is that? Number two, if you want to fish Lake Salvador, you have to go to Lake Cotahuachi through Grosstet and all that. How far a ride is that for somebody from LaRose who pays taxes in Lafourche? Also, I just think that the courts got it wrong in the Supreme Court of Louisiana for navigable waterways, because I think if somebody had the money to pursue it, federal law supersedes state law in navigable waterways where, hey, look, Clovelly's locked up, Tidewater's locked up, Leeville on the east side is locked up, Gaines is locked up, Company Canal, okay? You know what this is? This is don't shoot the king's deer and you can't fish in the king's land. And I got a problem with that because I'm a fisherman and there's a lot of places I can't go and I'm not going to pay $400. I don't know how that came that way. We need to maybe raise the taxes on the people who are back, who own the property back there, raise their property taxes. I don't know what to do, but I'm a fisherman and I don't think we need to deny our people access. Yes, it is pricey. I'd like to look around a little more personally, but I mean, if we can't fish anywhere and we got all this water, what use is it? That's my take.
You got one more, LaFont?
Yeah, I just want to add that I do have there on that property, the South Lafourche Levee District had purchased a right-of-way to put the new levee. And I do have the letter of no objection approved by the South Lafourche Levee Board that they will allow us to use the property that's part of it, which is part of the launch. So that gives us a good access to it. So we do have a letter of no objection. That's why we kept deferring it each meeting, and we do have it now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times being done. Any more comments from the Mr. Otan?
As y'all can imagine, this is a really, really tough one for me. I'll be fishing that area on Friday. So, yeah, I love and I fish up and down. Parents had a camp in Fouchon, so I use all the public launches. But I can tell you the situation that we have with the Lockport boat launch and the negligence that's going on there, it's really tough to imagine spending another $310,000 on property. And I guess actually I got a couple of questions. I'm wondering, so this is just a purchase of property, which seems to be really high, as you just alluded to, but what's the cost beyond this to get this location, I guess, in a serviceable condition? Because right now it's not. Any of y'all that go there, which I pass there, it's not in a serviceable condition. Do we know, has anyone done any analysis? Do we have a cost estimate on what it's gonna cost to get that operationable?
Administration, please.
I don't know that anybody's done any analysis on it. This was put up that they wanted to purchase the property. Just have to go to recreation and pay for it with whatever y'all want done.
So this
Mr.
is-
Chairman, actually, the boat launch is not much to get it operational.
Is there a boat launch
The
in
boat launch is
place
still
there
there.
now?
The parking lot's still there from the previous. It just has to be cleaned up right now. Now, however, we'd like to see a long-term in the future, they're gonna add more aggregate to give more parking spot, but the boat launch is still accessible.
Okay, I'll send you some pictures of it. It's in really, really bad shape.
On the outside, I looked at it from the inside.
No, from the intercourse. If you go in the intercourse, I'll take some pictures for you Friday. I'll be there. So, I mean, I'm just guessing that it's going to be a pretty pricey expense. So that's going to be getting it in operational condition. Then you have the maintenance, which another question I have is, who will be responsible for the maintenance of this boat launch? Say the day-to-day, week-to-week, who would that fall on? Like what entity would be there on a day-to-day or a weekly basis?
Recreation. They'll have to appoint somebody or assign somebody to be responsible for it.
Okay, can we take that action the same with Lockport boat launch? So that, because there is nobody. Right now, the grass is this tall. I pass every other day, been taking pictures, because as y'all know, half of it's underwater. It's been underwater for a consecutive, I think, 3 months now. More than half the time, half of the year, it's underwater. Of course, all the boards that are missing. So I'm regularly taking pictures as we have the 40, 50 vehicles parked there. So y'all can see where I'm at odds here for my constituency. You know, and I know the parish president and Administrator Don, Administrator Reggie. There's been a lot of discussion on the Lockport boat launch. There's been a lot of things explored. We thought the money was in the budget last year. It wasn't. There hasn't been an appropriation supplemental that came from the administration this year. So, you know, I'm hoping, I did send emails and asked for capital for next year's budget, hoping once again we'll get money in it. I've never gotten a response, but it's a really, really tough one for me, knowing we have funding for maintenance, we have funding for upgrades. We're going to spend $310,000, and yet Lockport is falling apart.
Neglect.
I mean, it's highly neglected. It's, you know, and I know we were on the verge of taking action several times in the last year and a half. I mean, really close. I know we talked to tree cutting companies that come in there and cut trees, and then it petered out. And I'm asking for help. I have sent emails. I have a long document trail with lots of people, and there's just nothing has happened. So it's making it tough on me. And once again, I'm going to be fishing that area Friday. I'm going to be there Friday. I'll be able to send y'all fresh pictures. But knowing the neglect that's going, we had a purse jerking contest there last weekend. CJ's annual catfish jug line is going to be this weekend at that boat launch. I think there's going to be, last year there was over 40 teams, 2-man teams. So, I mean, it's a highly utilized boat launch. So it's tough. I'll make this commitment. I'll vote in favor of purchasing it, but I will not vote for another dime spent on a boat launch anywhere in this parish until Lockport's one gets upgraded, and I would hope that y'all support me on that.
Mr. LaFont, go ahead.
One thing we can maybe look into, and administration, if y'all can do it, I know the Tourist Commission has some good money stashed away. Maybe we can ask them, since this is a big tourist attraction, maybe ask them to participate in helping out Councilman Otan and any boat launch in the parish. I think it would be a great way for them to participate and advertise some, you know, we have all these boat launches available.
Ms. Lucy?
Armin, why was it, you said it was in the budget and was removed? Why, how was it removed from the budget? Who did that?
It was proposed by Recreation. It was requested to be in last year's budget. I don't know beyond that. Before that, Philip Gold made several comments that he was trying to get money and it never happened. Last year it was proposed by Recreation. I was fooled into thinking, and I mean, Reggie can maybe comment. I don't want to call anybody out on it. I was under the impression it was in the budget this past year. When I made Mr. Jimmy aware of it, he thought it was in the budget. At least that's what he told me. Once again, he's not here, so I don't want to call him out, but you know, at some point in time, we could have did a supplemental. Obviously, that has to come from the administration. But long story short, it's highly neglected and desperately wanting to improve it and make it right.
I guess I don't understand, because in my district, the parish takes care of the boat launches.
It's awesome. Your boat launch is beautiful.
They are, and so I don't know why Lockport has been allowed to get in that state. I
Agreed.
just don't think that should be happening in our parish.
Agreed. You have a phenomenal boat launch. I use that one too. I like it.
but I'll get behind that proposal that you just made. We can purchase the property to build this new boat launch, but I won't vote for another red cent as well until the ones we have are maintained properly. Thank you for that.
Mr. Otan, could you email me tomorrow
All
a
right,
copy?
we're moving right
all,
along
and- 'cause
now.
that's
We're
the
gonna
first
vote
I
on
hear of
item number
that.
7. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes.
Thank you,
9-0.
ladies and gentlemen.
Item number 8, ordinance amending ordinance number 5877, that amended ordinance number 5833, which adopted the 2017 operations and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any comment from the public? One time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none. Comment from the council. Being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Let's show the hands of the nay, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it fails. And it fails 4-5. All right, item number 9, ordinance providing for the 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-009 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to correct and carry forward balances from 2016 projects and to adjust specific projects, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, any discussion from the council? Being none? Okay. The administration, do you have an amendment on this item number 9?
Should be in your packet, huh?
I don't see one for number 9.
I don't see it.
Keep flipping past the original ordinance. I thought you heard this at the last meeting because Mr. Email wasn't here and you needed to, that's
I don't see one. don't
I
see
got one right here.
You have it?
Page 14. Oh, wait. I got page 14 on mine.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna say, who wants to sponsor the amendment? Anybody? You sponsor the amendment, and second by Mr. Bourgeois. I will read the portion that's being amended at an ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-009 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to correct the carry forward balances from 2016 projects and to adjust specific projects, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Where's the differences in the you need to give me 16.
page 16.
Section 2, page 16.
Okay. So section 2, the underlined section is new. A supplemental appropriation of the 2017 capital outlay budget is hereby approved as follows. Fund 299 capital outlay fund to carry forward fishing pier at Leeville boat launch. A decrease in capital outlay in the amount of $58,667, and a decrease in other revenue in the amount of $58,667. So that's the difference in the amendment, is going to be the decrease. Any comment from the public on the amendment as read? 1 time.
You said that's a decrease?
That's what is read, that's what it
The other
says.
sentences say the same thing.
Decreasing and decreasing.
A decrease in the capital outlay in the amount of $58,667 and a decrease in other revenue in the amount of $58,667.
The lines that you got crossed through, they have crossed out the same.
Yeah, that's right. This amendment doesn't change anything.
No.
It actually takes it from, they put it under Fund 101.
What?
Section 1, Fund 101 is where the scratch outs are. Right above Section
101.
2.
What's Fund 101?
Section 1, Fund 101, I'm sorry, 001, General Fund, under Section 1. That's where the 2 are scratched out from.
I don't see it.
That's page 16, is the 2 lines that are scratched out.
Yes.
But there's no difference.
16.
The difference is you're saying
They
that
were-
the funds are gonna be moved to, Fund 299 instead?
Well, they're being decreased from 299, opposed from being decreased from 001. She just put it under the wrong section.
And where's it being increased to?
You got Fund 110, that's Recreation Fund. That's,
Yeah, this is a little sketchy to me. I think,
And then it should show an increase.
There's nothing
in,
clear.
299.
yeah, it should.
Should be an increase in 299 if you decrease it
Right.
out of recreation.
is that a typo?
It's not, we gotta get it right. Can't do it like this, can't
How
prove
about
it
we,
like that.
I say we defer this to the next meeting until they get it straight.
Because the amendment reads the same as the original.
And they gotta have the right fund, where they coming out.
Y'all want to pull the motion and the second on the amendment?
Not pull it, defer.
Well, pulling the amendment first, then we got to pull, then we have to defer the ordinance. So they pulled the motion and the second on the amendment.
That's you and James? Okay.
So now, to defer item number 8, you'll pull your second? Yeah, it's number 9, sorry. And he'll pull that and defer it till the next council meeting, which is which date?
27.
The 27th?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to explain where is it?
Now, we're moving right along to item number 10. That thing's been deferred now to 6/27. Item number 10 is ordinance to reduce the speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour on all motor vehicles traveling on all streets in Sugar Plantation, Subdivision Ward 1, District 3, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, requiring the replacement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Grow. Second by Mr. Jones. Any comment from the audience on this? 1 time? Or the public? 2 times? 3 times? Mr. Jones, you have something from the council?
No, I don't.
Your light's on.
No.
Ms. Sposito, you have a comment on this?
I was going to ask, Councilman Grow, did you get any complaints, any harassment from parish employees about a 3-way stop sign? I see you have 2 on the agenda. Were you
No, but that's
called
not
on
this
harassment?
item, though. It's the next 2.
Your mic's
Oh, my
not
bad.
on, Mike, for your response.
Okay,
That's the next 2 items, but no.
okay. No? All right, sorry about that.
Okay. Any other comments on this? We'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Ordinance number 11, ordinance establishing a 3-way stop at the corner of North Lake Drive and Abbey Lake Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 5, District 3, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary 3-way stop sign and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Grow, second by Ms. Sposito. Any comment from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, any comment from the council? Mr. Grow.
To answer your question, there is a particular employee who is very vocal about 3-way signs. The first one I have, I called him to, did some interference so he can to beat the call. So basically, there's one stop sign going this way, there's a stop sign at the corner, and there's not one on the other side. So people are stopping, and the other side, they're flying through. So it should have been there from the beginning. And the second one is just a recommendation by the neighborhood association. Both of these were brought to my attention by the neighborhood association, but, so I'm in favor of both of these, hopefully.
All right, thank you, Mr. Orman. Oldham?
I just want to comment, three-way stops are very, very dangerous. I was involved in a automobile accident at one because once they pop up, a lot of people are not aware of them. They just drive right through them. I would ask that if these are approved, if some cones or something, or some kind of a blinking arrow light or something could be placed just prior to that new stop sign for maybe a few weeks to a month. Just from the angle of accidents and having been involved in them and responding to them.
I have no problem with that. And these are in a neighborhood with a speed limit of 18 miles per hour through the whole neighborhood, so it is a,
All right, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 12, ordinance establishing a three-way stop on Grand Lakes Drive and East Lakeshore Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 5, District 6, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary three-way stop signs and providing penalties and violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Groh. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none. Any further comment from the council? Being none. Move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 13, ordinance establishing a 20 miles per hour speed limit on Bentley Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit and watch for children signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Ms. Sposito. Second by Mr. Jones. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none. Mr. Lafont.
What's the current speed limit on that street?
There's none posted.
All right, being no more comments, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 14, ordinance to install additional 15-mile-per-hour speed limit sign, or it doesn't say sign, to install additional 15-mile-per-hour speed limit and caution children at play signs on LaRousse Lane, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 6, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit and caution children at play signs, and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Ms. Sposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, comment from the council. Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item 15, ordinance approving the attached servitude agreement between Craig J. Keys, Mary Joseph Kern Keys, and the Lafourche Parish Council, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, any comment from the council? Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 16, ordinance approving an act of donation between the Lafourche Parish Government and Crimson Gulf LLC for the donation of one 2013 Landa 16-foot mass trailer with outriggers. VIN number 1 Mike 9 Bravo Uniform 1629 Delta November 6318747, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, any discussion from the council? Yes, Mr. Lafont.
Who is Crimson Gulf LLC that they would want to donate us?
They were introduced to us last meeting. They're a new company in the area, in Lafourche.
What did they do?
Pipeline company.
Okay, all right.
All right. We'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 17, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-012 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to increase the coastal zone management budget by $200,000 for the Barataria Marsh Creation and Ridge restoration project and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, any comment from the council on this? I have a question. Where's the funds coming from again? Say again? Increase the coastal zone management budget by $200,000. Hey, come on up. Name and address for the record, please.
Amanda Voisin, 4876 Highway 1, Matthews, Louisiana. This is actually a grant, so they had to do the supplemental to get the money in the budget, and it'll be reimbursed by the Restore Act grant.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any further comment on this item? All right, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. How many we got? Number 18, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-013 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to deobligate the completed project building and maintenance security project 14036 to carry forward the grant funds from 2016 of the Alidor Water Project and then deobligate the completed Alidor Water Project 10007 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 19, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-014 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to adjust the budget to cover the CDBG Thibodeau Government Complex Project Amendment numbers 3, 4, and 5, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council? Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item 20, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-015 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to increase the budget for the Safe Route Project 13038 award to Lafourche Parish government from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $97,000 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. LaFont. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council. Being none. Moving to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 21, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-016 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to increase the budget to cover an agreement between the Lafourche Parish government and the city of Thibodeau under resolution number 07196 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Groh. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any comment from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none from the council? Being none, move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Can we get a motion to close this public hearing? Moved by Mr. LaFont, second by Mr. Bourgeois. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So carries. 9-0. Mrs. Esposito, would you please continue with section K?
Number 22, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 5917, which was ratified by the Lafourche Parish Council at the May 23, 2017 Lafourche Parish Council meeting, which provided supplemental appropriation 17-010 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to correct the funding of the Water Park and Bayou Blue Recreation 14012 since the consolidation of recreation districts by Lafourche Parish government and to add additional funding to cover the expenses for Recreation District 11. Councilman Someone move for Councilman Melvin. Councilman Grow. Number 23, proposed ordinance.
Can I speak on that?
You want to speak on the proposed?
Yeah. I actually have questions for Mr. Melvin based
He's not
on-
here.
All right, well, I'm going to rhetorically ask my questions. In the March 28th, 2017 council meeting, Mr. Melvin brought out, quote, "There's an item sponsored by James Bourgeois, and it's not for the administration, and it's for something inside of Mr. Melvin's district." During the minutes of this meeting, I apologized, and we agreed that we wouldn't do this again. However, I'd like to know why Mr. Melvin is wanting to stop the funding for a project in Bayou Blue, which is paid for by the taxpayers based on the millage of their property. The agreement Mr. Melvin and I had on March 28th of 2017 was that we would not do things in each other's district. He's not here to answer that, but I'd like to enter that and let the public know that I guess we don't have an agreement anymore.
You want to ask it again? He has a question on proposed ordinance, item number 22.
Okay.
Okay, March 28th, 2017, at 7:37 and 41 seconds, you asked me about an ordinance concerning Tessie. And it was about actually all of the parish, but it was just your thing. And you said, quote, "It's not sponsored by James Bourgeois for the administration. The sewer district's my district, so don't you think I need to direct those questions?" You basically called me out for interfering in stuff in your district. Mr. Melvin, I apologized. I said, "I'm sorry, we shouldn't do that." Mr. LaFont, you actually chimed in. You guys beat me up pretty bad because I was trying to do something on Tessie and saying, basically, as in the council, we agreed that we're not going to do stuff outside of our district without letting the councilman know. Mr. Melvin, this water park is in District 5. It is the taxpayers of District 5 that have funded this, and yet you have an ordinance to stop funding it. I'm just going off of the minutes, and they're up for anybody who'd like them. It's what we agreed 65, 70 odd days ago. I just want to know what happened.
Well, I guess buyer's remorse. I've been married for 10 happy years, and, I disagree with my wife sometimes, and I change my mind. But I just think that it's just a lot of money to spend with the fact that they want this money, and they said they're going to need bathrooms. So after, unfortunately, we passed it, it seems like I started delving into how much money the recreation brings in, how much they have, how much they're putting in. This project's been going on for several years. Of course, I have nothing against trying to do something for the children. But my point is, it's just like, well, if you take the plunge on giving them the money for the splash park, how much are we going to have to pay for the bathrooms? So it's not so much that I don't want the kids to have a splash park, it's that I was concerned about the total cost on the end of this thing. And like I said, me personally, I thought it was fiscally irresponsible on my part to vote for this. And like I said, I think, the horse is out the gate because the contract's signed, but I just wanted to readdress it. And since then, I've learned that the contract has been signed. And, I don't know if it can be stopped without bringing the parish into litigation. It was just an attempt simply because I wanted to take a closer look at this. Because if a recreation district brings in, let's say, $100,000 a year, $120 a year, and they come to the parish, and right now, the price, not the price tag, but I understand we're into this thing for $391,000 for a park that, Thibodeau just built one for $140. I understand that maybe this one may be a little larger, but I'm just wondering what the price tag is going to be total for this park. So it's nothing against the kids or against you, and I apologize. So it's just a concern of how much this is going to be in the long run is all it is. And again, I apologize for not notifying you. but it's just thought we'd take a better look to make sure the money's spent properly, is all it is.
All right, moving right along.
Number 23, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 5410 and amending and reenacting Chapter 34, Article 24, Section 34-597 of the Code of Ordinances of the Lafourche Parish Council as it pertains to the Board of Commissioners for the South Lafourche Beachfront Development District, proposed by Mr. Lorraine. Number 24, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 5459 as it pertains to the proper spelling of Ainsley Drive that established acceptance of the subdivision known as the Villas of Leighton Plantation into the parish system. Can someone move for me? Moved by Mr. Jones. Number 25, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 5880 as it pertains to the proper spelling of Ainsley Drive that changed the speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour. Moved by Mr. Jones. Number 26, proposed ordinance providing for 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-017 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to cover the emergency removal of the Chevron Bridge with an estimated cost of $450,000 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Ms. Councilman Lorraine.
I got a question on that. I'd like to know why it's coming out of Fund 174, State of Emergency, and not out of Road Sale Tax 2.
Because it's an emergency and there's $1 million in that fund, and if you want to argue with the Coast Guard, I'll get the Coast Guard here the next time, and if you want, they're demanding that it gets pulled out.
I don't think he's arguing with the Coast Guard. He's talking about funding.
I'm not arguing with the
I
Coast
just said
Guard.
it, there's an emergency funding of $1 million. They used to have $2 million, and this is an emergency. And if you want to question the Coast Guard, quite welcome to do it.
Well, the Coast Guard can be at the next meeting, but this money, this emergency money was put aside, $1 million for hurricane season, and hurricane
No,
season
emergency
here
is
now.
emergency, Mr. Jones.
Emergency, it should come out of Road Sale Tax 2.
No,
for the
no,
bridge.
no. I don't think
yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Who made that decision to come out of Fund 174?
I didn't make that decision. It's an administrative decision.
Okay, yeah, well, we got that. Road Sale Tax 2, gentlemen.
Renita's the one that made the recommendation to take it out of the emergency fund.
Look, if you're not acknowledged, please refrain from making comments.
I don't work for you, Mr. Paraloo.
Mr. Chairman, you could have him removed from the room if you'd like, though.
Yeah,
And we got a
please
deputy
leave.
sitting back here.
Go ahead, leave. Go find who you work for.
Number 27, a proposed ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-018 within the 2017 operation and maintenance budget to increase the coastal zone management 181 budget to cover a project to develop and install an oyster bed surge protection system to protect ancient burial mounds sacred to the Pointe-Shan Native American tribe, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Councilman Bourgeois. Number 28, proposed ordinance approving a lease agreement between Lafourche Parish government and the Congregation of Holy Savior Roman Catholic Church to utilize property for recreational purposes, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said lease agreement and any and all relevant documents, moved by Councilman Otan. Number 29, proposed ordinance approving a right-of-way agreement between Lafourche Parish government and ETEL Corp. LLC, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents, moved by Councilman Paraloo.
All right, thank you, Ms. Esposito. We're going to have a 10-minute recess before we start the resolutions.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for removing him, because if he can't follow the rules, then he don't need to be in our building. Thank you.
L, resolutions. Number 30, resolution requesting Lafourche Parish Council to approve placing a feasible but affordable lock on the vault housed in the legislative suite. Moved by Mr. Melvin, Second by Mr. LaFont. Any discussion? Mr. Esposito.
Okay, didn't we get approval from the DA before to change the locks on the legislative
Ms.
area?
Carleen, do you want to
Because-
answer
No, but
that?
hang on a second. I went in there the other day. It's still being fingerprinted because someone's going through it again. There's fingerprint powder or whatever kind of powder you call that. Why haven't we changed the locks? I thought, why are we discussing this
Ms.
right now?
Carleen can explain that. She spearheaded that
I spoke with Mr. Chris Landry, who's head of buildings and maintenance, and he told me that Mr. Cantrell said that these are my buildings, and I'm not ready to change locks. So that we had a standstill.
Did anyone, so this is, did anyone go to Mr. Cantrell, or is this now an official request, or how do we, I don't understand that. If someone is breaking into the legislative area, why is this still a discussion?
It needs to be addressed. Since Mr. Landry came back with that answer that the administration refuses to participate in changing the locks.
Not ready to change the locks at this time.
Yeah, well, refuse and not ready was the difference. So we need to revisit that with the DA's office and see what kind of traction we can gain in getting that done. I'll spearhead that.
How many more times have Thibodeau PD been called out since the original request? Wasn't it two more times? I mean, we have a problem, so.
Mr. Melvin.
Just real quick, the first one I believe was for the locks on the doors. This is for the lock on the vault.
No, I understand that, but it just brought to mind why we haven't, if we'd have corrected the locks on the door, maybe the vault wouldn't even be an issue. I mean, we probably wouldn't have to change the locks on the vault. Or
Mr.
put a lock
Bourgeois.
on the vault.
I want to make it clear that I'm in favor of locking everything up. I'm not against this. But unfortunately, in this resolution, it says by feasible but affordable. I think it's a little bit vague. I don't like the language on that. Locksmiths are like lawyers, professionals, what have you. We don't know if we've got TL30, TL60, we got tumblers, we've got military grade. We don't know what it is. The definition of feasible and affordable, the locking system, it might be cheaper to replace the vault door, different things like that. I agree. I want to secure it, but I want to clearly state that the language of feasible and affordable is a blank check that I don't like. And we're talking fiscal responsibility all the time. I think we should consult a security expert or, have someone give proposals before we just authorize it.
All right, thank you for that. We'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Item number 31, resolution of the Lafourche Parish Council expressing their continued support for the Barataria-Terrebonne National Estuary Program and for its work to aid the state's coastal residents and resources and conveying this support to the Louisiana congressional delegation and state officials. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by
Hey,
Mrs.
can we get a
Esposito.
unanimous second on that?
Mr. Esposito seconded already. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 32, resolution requesting the administration to look into purchasing the parking lot, formerly the Capital One Bank parking lot, located at the corners of Maronge and West 4th Street and Green and West 4th Street across from the Thibodeau Government Complex in Thibodeau, Louisiana. Moved by Mr. Groh, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Melvin.
Just real quick, Mike, I can appreciate this, giving us space downtown. I know that there's several buildings, government buildings, that other government officials have told me they have leaky roofs. So I understand we're trying to create more parking spaces, but if it's parking or leaky roofs, I mean, that's just how I see it.
Any other comment? Being no-
Okay, well, basically, some other public officials have rain coming in their buildings downtown, and instead of putting the money in a parking lot to park, they'd rather see the money put into their buildings so they can stop having to put buckets and money on their
Maintenance.
desk. Maintenance.
All right, Mr. Groh.
I don't think anybody would argue with that statement, Bo, but this is, there's like 29 spots. A few years ago, if you're familiar with the ag building downtown, there was discussion, which is now civil service, there was discussion about tearing that down and possibly making a parking lot. It wasn't feasible at that time. I had talked to administration about this after a elected official with a leaky roof had brought it to my attention. And it would help if we can park some of their people there, register voters people, just to take 29 spots out of downtown Thibodaux and put them in a parking lot across from our building, I think would be a good idea. But I want to make sure it's feasible first. So I just wanted to make the request in formal, and actually I did speak with Mr. Landry today about some of those leaky roofs downtown, so.
All right, any other comments on this item? Being none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. 2. Passes 7-2. And Melvin, yes. All right, number 33, resolution requesting the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, LADOTD, to clean the ditches along 3235 behind West 23rd, 24th, and 25th Streets in Cutoff, Louisiana, and to continue on and clean the ditches along the remainder of Highway 3235 in La Rose and Cutoff, Louisiana, moved by Mr. Lafont. Well, can we get a second on this first? Second by Mr. Lorraine. Okay, so you want to introduce an amendment?
To, Ms. Carleen, would you want to read it for me, please?
We're going to add, after LADOTD, to clean the roadside ditches along 3235. We're going to take out behind West 23rd, 24th, and 25th Streets, and add in from the intersection of West 23rd Street to the cross drain 700 feet south along the east side of Highway 3235, whose coordinates are 293321-9022-9 at West 23rd and 293316-90-22-3 at the cross drains in Cutoff, Louisiana.
Also, I'd like to add this attachment to it. There's a copy of the ditch. Actually, I think Rocky pulled out a barrel or a drum out of it when he went check it out. But I'd like to add this for DOTD. And also, I got another amendment I'd like to add to it. On 3235 behind West, I want to say 98th Street. Let me make sure. Yeah, behind West 98th Street. I have a descriptive here. I'd like to add that also to it. What happened with all these last few rains, and I don't know if y'all familiar with 3235. When the state built 3235, they are responsible for maintaining that roadside ditch, drainage ditch, which drains everything on the LA1 side of the road in between there. And the state's been very lazy on taking care of that. So I don't think the parish should be doing state work. And if you have a look, I don't know if y'all get our request from every born to give me a report on all the work going on in the parish. And I noticed Alborn been doing a lot of state work, which I don't agree with. But so that's why I'm putting this here. So want to attach these two to it also, amending this one and that one. So I appreciate y'all's support.
All right, so do we have a second on the amendment? Second. Mr. Bourgeois. All right, so we'll vote first on the amendment.
We'll vote on this amendment first, the 98th Street, adding it to it.
I thought you were adding that to your original amendment.
Okay, we can, yeah, if it's possible. That's fine. Yeah, one,
Yes.
one. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll vote on the amendment. You have something, Ms. Louise?
I just was questioning, you said there's work being done on state highways. I thought we're not supposed to do work on state highways. The parish is doing work on state highways?
Yeah, the parish is doing work on
which
state
district?
highways in our district.
In whose district?
And actually, and most of it's in Daniel's district, but it's along state highways, and I think we got enough work to keep up with ourselves that we should be requesting the state to doing these instead of us having to.
Mr. Barnes, is that correct? Is the parish doing work on state highways?
Yes, at times, but we go through a permit process with the DODT to get them to come out and look at it, and if they can't get to it, it's a possibility of flooding. I know we did work in Ms. Posito's area along by the church area in Chat Bay, cleaning out culverts and small work, but yes.
So who makes the decision if they can't get to it in a timely manner?
Well, when they say they can't get to it, the DOT can't get to it, I make the decision.
All right. Anybody else? Daniel?
Yes, I was able to get a bill passed in the legislature that we could do work on the state highway. I don't like doing it, and we got to get a permit to do it. And if we're gonna wait for the state, you're gonna wait forever. That's the kind of work we get with the state. That right there, not gonna have that done in this term. Promise you.
I spoke to Representative Truck just clearing this, and he assured me it would get done.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make one comment on 3235. That there actually serves as a dam between LA1 and the canal back there. The state needs to maintain all of them cross drains. We have a tremendous amount of flooding due to the culverts not being cleaned in this area. Regardless of which councilman it is, we try to help when the state can't get out there to free up some of these culverts and do some small jobs, and we do go through the process. I believe I can speak for every councilman here that there's work been done on the state highway by the parish. We don't do it all the time. We don't make it a full-time job, but if it's something needs to be done to keep from flooding, we do it. But we do have the paperwork to back it up.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Jerry, you got something else?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. So first we'll vote on the amendment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Amendment passes 9-0. Now we're going to vote on the resolution as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 34, resolution requesting Lafourche Parish Council to appoint a 3-member committee to review and discuss all insurance companies which submit proposals for parish health insurance and property and casualty insurance. Moved by Mr. Jones. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion on this item? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 35, resolution requesting Lafourche Parish District Attorney to render an opinion regarding a clarification that forbids the Lafourche Parish Council members or the Legislative Internal Auditor from attending departmental meetings involving the formulation of public policy of a budgetary nature or construction of capital projects. Can someone move? Moved by who? Mr. Lafont, and second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion on this? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 36, resolution requesting Lafourche Parish District Attorney to render an opinion regarding clarification as to if the Lafourche Parish District Attorney has rendered any past opinions forbidding legislative branch attendance to any departmental meetings involving formulation of budget policy, public policy, of a budgetary nature or construction of capital projects. Moved by Mr. Lafont. Second by Ms. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 37, resolution appointing 2 members on the Fire Protection District Number 8C Board. Mrs. Esposito, who do you have?
I'm appointing one today, Mr. Adley Pelche.
Mr. Adley Pelche. Can we get a second? Mr. Jones seconds that. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 38, resolution appointing 2 members on the Fire Protection District Number 6 Board. Mrs. Esposito, who do you have?
McLean Chassaw and Brennan Thibodeau.
Can we get a second on those 2? Mr. Jones seconds. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 39, resolution reappointing 1 member to the Terrebonne Parish Fire Protection District Number 6 Board. Mr. Bourgeois.
Mr. Gale LaBeouf.
Second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Please be a little more vocal on these votes, folks, so people will know where you stand on these. Once again, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Being none, passes 9-0. Item 40, resolution appointing 1 member to the Lafourche Parish Commission for Women Board. Mr. Melvin.
I appoint Claire Robichaud.
Can we get a second on this Claire Robichaud? Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 41, resolution reappointing one commissioner to represent the Lockport Police Department to the Lafourche Parish Children and Youth Planning Board. Mr. Otam.
I enthusiastically recommend Sergeant David Harrelson Jr.
Is that an enthusiastic second? All right. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 42, resolution approving the low bid of M&L Engine LLC for the purchase of one 8-inch trailer-mounted automatic self-priming diesel pump for the Elsie Tabor Pump Station and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item 43, resolution approving amendment number 2 to the agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and CB&I, formerly known as Shaw Environmental and Infrastructure, Inc., for additional services and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by.
A second. Hold on one second, I can't find. My bad.
Number 43.
Yeah, I'm looking right on the contract. I think it doubled in price.
It goes from, 80,685 to 172, an increase of 91.
So it more than doubled.
Yeah, 91,650. Now, they list some, modifications that they're doing. I don't know, I mean, I'm not familiar with this, but, is somebody from CB&I here? I know there's really maybe, is anybody from administration that can explain the added stuff that's coming in item 3 in the amendment? Because that's a substantial amount.
Mr. Barnes, are you familiar with this one?
That's the D-firm map. I think that has something to do with our planning and permit departments.
Okay, and he's not here either. Mr. Bourgeois, as a sponsor, did you know anything about it?
I know it has to do with like the elevations and the stuff like that with floodplains and different things tied to that, but that's kind of what I know about it.
All right, so far you don't have a second. Anybody want to second this? Being none, it dies.
I'll second it, but I want to discuss it. I also think we should probably pull this or defer it because we need somebody to explain this, because to me, if you doing modifications, I first read it as, oh, it's a name change, and then they, just redoing a contract. Then I see this, I brought it to Mr. LaFont's attention before the meeting. We need some more explanation on this, or can we go out to bid for something that jumps up 90,000?
I think we deferred, and if we find out that it's time sensitive, I don't see why we can't hurry and get it through. But when you over double the cost of something, I think that chill throws up a flag.
No second yet. Well, Mike, you gonna pull your second? All right, you gonna defer it till
Mr. Chairman, I think
6:27?
Mr. Barnes has something to say.
Mr. Barnes?
I'd like to do some research on this and defer it to the next meeting if possible,
We'll do that.
because I think it has a lot to do with the elevations and the flood maps that's going to affect people's insurance, from what I'm reading on it.
All right, good idea. All right, so be it. It is deferred until 6:27 by Mr. Bourgeois. Item 44, resolution approving a use of school facilities request between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Parish School Board for the use of Bayou Blue Middle School for Lafourche Parish Recreation District Number 11 volleyball program, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Is it okay if he seconds it? Mr. Otan seconds it. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 45, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and T. Baker Smith LLC for professional services associated with preliminary engineering and design for the Barataria Marsh Creation and Ridge Restoration Project in the amount of $434,760 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion on this? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 46, resolution in support of a 2018 Federal Highway Administration FHWA recreational trails program for a Louisiana Trails Grant application for the Bayou Lafourche Cultural Trail near the Bayou Lafourche Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Otam. Mr. Bourgeois, where's this located?
Along the bayou and the Highway 90 corridor.
In my district? It would appear that way.
I got told it was
What is
along
going
the
on with
bayou and
this?
Highway 90 corridor.
Right, which is District 6.
Well, I got
You
part of
just
Highway 90.
fussed him for meddling in your district, and you're doing it to me.
I sponsored it for the administration. They asked.
Exactly. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 47, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the contract between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Animal Hospital to provide veterinary services on an as-needed and as-called-upon basis for the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Can someone move on this? So moved. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? You got something?
Yes, sir, Mr. Parallel, this is in Mr. Melvin's district. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 48, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the town of Golden Meadow, with the town receiving 2.5% of the parish transportation revenue program, with funding paid directly to Lafourche Parish Government from the Louisiana Department of Treasury for the state of Louisiana's 2017 to 2018 fiscal year, and authorizing, excuse me, the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 49, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the City of Thibodaux, with the city receiving 16.35% of the parish transportation revenue program, with the funding paid directly to Lafourche Parish Government from the Louisiana Department of Treasury for the state of Louisiana's 2017-2018 fiscal year, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 50, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the town of Lockport, with the town receiving 3% of the parish transportation revenue program, with funding paid directly to Lafourche Parish Government from the Louisiana Department of Treasury for the state of Louisiana's 2017 to 2018 fiscal year, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to defer number 51. There's the address is not correct, and they're in the process of maybe selling it, so.
Okay,
I'd like to defer to July the 11th.
July 11th?
2017.
Roger that. So deferred. Item number 52, resolution accepting the low quote of Lawson Environmental Services LLC in the amount of $3,308.25 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement ordinance number 3895 concerning the demolition of a condemned structure located at 125 Landreau Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70301, assessment number 00630744100, within Lafourche Parish, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Esposito, second by Mr. Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Is that a new company, or is that someone, Lawson Environmental Services? You know these folks?
I do. They've been in business for, I'd say 15, 18 years. They had some ownership changes, a couple little hard times, and they withdrew from bidding on parish projects, I guess about 5 years ago, but they're back.
Okay,
They've been in
so-
business. They're reputable.
Gotcha, thank you. Number 53, resolution accepting a low quote from American Disposal LLC in the amount of $3,800 for the contractor services related to nuisance abatement ordinance number 3895 concerning the demolition of a condemned structure located at 304 Lade Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70301, assessment number 00206300900 within Lafourche Parish, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer in agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. I can see the end coming. Number 54, resolution accepting a low quote from American Disposal LLC in the amount of $4,000 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement ordinance number 3895 concerning the demolition of a condemned structure located at 3037 Choctaw Road, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70301, assessment number 00631141100 within Lafourche Parish, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mrs. Esposito. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 55, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Leif J. Haas for the position of parish administrator for Lafourche Parish Government, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? No questions on this? Mr. LaFont.
It seems to me that we're going to hire a parish administrator, at least the parish president would show up to the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Grove.
Is the gentleman here?
I don't know.
Okay, you have anything to say, or,
You're welcome to come up, sir, and address the council if you'd like. Name and address for the record.
There we go. Name is Leif J. Haas. I live at 253 Bayou Vista Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana. Been a resident here since 2002. Spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. 5 years with the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. 2 years as a detective. I have been in and out of this parish, up and down. I know all your districts. I've met all your people. It would seem to me, and I only get what I've been able to read in the newspapers because, quite frankly, I work an hour and a half away. I don't get back in time to make meetings. I get home at 8 o'clock at night. I leave 3 o'clock in the morning. But there's definitely a stalemate. And I think we could all agree that we can't serve, we can't advocate for the people in this parish if we don't communicate and we don't talk. I've been out here the last couple hours. I've seen some of the issues with the administration and the council's relationship. I'm a problem solver. It's what I like to do. I'm not a run-of-the-mill, want to lay back and take a paycheck. I want to earn my keep, and if I can do that while improving the lives of our citizens here in Lafourche Parish, then I'd like to do that. But at the end of the day, it has to be a two-way street of communication. What I can pledge to you is, if you can do it with me, then I can definitely communicate with you. And I just wanted to be here in case anyone had any questions.
So what did you notice between the administration and the council tonight?
It's definitely curt.
How would you characterize it? That's what my question.
I would characterize it as curt, and I would definitely say there was tension. You have to communicate if you want to say something. There is a right way to go about it. I would agree with you there. So, I myself, Marine Corps, I know you, sir, served in the Army, and several others. I think there's at least one more.
You have a Simplify over here, too.
Hoorah. Order. We can't get business done without a little order. We have a certain way of going things. I like order. I like organization. I also like efficiency. And I like to talk. I like to communicate because my point of view may not be the best point of view. And it is good to have different points of view from all the districts come together to mesh. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. We're here to advocate for our people, for the district you represent. And on the administrative side, we'd like to take all these different points of view and try to make it happen. But we have to do that within the confines of a home rule charter. We have to do it with respect. We have to do it with integrity. We have to give a little transparency to each other. But it has to be done the right way. That's what I would like to fix. I think everybody involved wants to do what's best for Lafourche Parish. I think we're having a little trouble communicating how we want to do it. That's what I would like to help circumvent, to help fix. Because if not, we got another 2 years before we have re-elections, and our citizens are going to be the one that suffer. I don't know if you looked at real estate lately, but everywhere I go, I see houses popping up. People I see on Facebook are moving out of the parish, whether it's an education system that they felt wasn't suitable to their special needs child. I've seen that. Whether it's just poor economy, our people aren't working, can't afford their houses. Or whether they're just tired of being stuck and nothing being progressed. You know, I saw on your Facebook page there, Mr. Chairman, regarding the Homa Courier article from the May meeting. And your words when you posted the link were, "We can do better." And you, sir, are absolutely right.
You damn Skippy.
We can do better. Let me help us do better.
Mrs. Posito, you have a question?
Yeah, how long have you known Mr. Cantrell?
I met Ms. Cantrell 2 weeks ago when I
Okay,
interviewed.
so you just met when you applied just through the ad in the newspaper, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many meetings have you had with him?
I've had one.
One meeting?
One meeting. The interview.
What's that?
The interview.
Okay, just one interview. Did you interview with anyone else in his administration on that day?
With the director of HR, Ms. Emily, and with the interim administrator, Mrs. Tommy.
Okay. How long did that interview last?
Roughly 40 minutes.
Okay. Did he tell you why he selected you?
The military aspect, also the fact that I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I have a master's in business administration, both from Nicholls State University. Currently working to attain a bachelor's degree in accounting from Bellevue University in Nebraska, with hopes to sit for the CPA exam.
And I didn't notice any government experience or not much supervisor experience on your resume.
Well, currently I am an execution manager out at Dow Plaquemine. I've been there for coming up on a year and a half now.
And how many people do you supervise?
There I supervise roughly 10 people.
Okay.
At CF Industries, I supervised a crew of 20 and was responsible for approximately $1 billion in material.
And no government experience, though?
Outside of Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, no, ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bo.
Jared can go first.
I
Go
just
ahead.
got one statement, I understand you saying you want to bring transparency, you want to communicate, but the two previous guys before you, there was no better communication between them and the council than I think anybody could ever give us. Mr. Bagala communicated with every one of us on a daily basis, had a great relationship. His predecessor had a great relationship, Mr. Don Mathern. I don't think that's where the challenge comes in. I think the challenge comes in when you have to deal with the current interim, or whatever they call him. No matter who gets the position, he's going to be doing the talking. And it's a stated fact, you know. I find it hard to believe that, I know if I'd be hiring somebody to run my company, I wouldn't only meet with him for 40 minutes. I wouldn't only meet one time. Nothing against you, it's not your choice. But I would definitely build a relationship with that person before I'd hire him to run my company.
Duly noted. I think where the administration finds themselves is simply trying to pick the best candidate they can put before the council that they feel maybe has a little bit better chance, someone neutral, someone not associated with the president. And that would be me. I don't work for an individual. I don't work for a corporation. I work for my family. I might be employed by a corporation, but I work for my family. In this position, citizens of Lafourche, that's my family. That's who I'm coming to work for. Now, it may not work out. It would not be the first time, because I am very black and white. I am by the book. I don't take shade. I don't do shady things. I don't do illegal things. That's not how you get things done. That's not how you operate. So yeah, you could appoint me and ratify this resolution. I might be gone within 2 months, might be fired. But your people will know that you put forth the effort, that you tried. And the citizens will see exactly where their problems lie in this parish and where they need to address it.
Bo. Thank you for your service, both in both uniforms, military and police. Thank you so much. I do feel safe in this parish and in the country. Jerry echoed. I was going to ask you, what could you bring that the other candidates who we've had in the place bring, but we can pass that. How do you feel about insubordination or being micromanaged?
I don't do micromanagement.
That's not good.
When you lead, you have to allow people to grow. If we don't allow people to grow, they can't get better. Nothing changes.
And I agree with you.
You're saying all the right things, man, believe me.
If it is a issue, if that's the issue y'all see, then we will find out real quick.
Any other comments, questions?
I appreciate you coming. Glad you did come up to explain yourself. It's unfortunate the parish president isn't here, or HR, somebody that did interview so he could let us know what qualities they believed in about putting you forward in a resolution. So I'd like to call to a vote.
I think it's an insult that they're not here. And, things happen, but I'm sorry. This is too much of an important position not to be here. If it's up to me, I defer it, but that's just my opinion, because to me, you seem like a pretty qualified candidate, and you want to do this job well, but they should be here, in my opinion.
And again, for me, thank you for your service. It's a mighty great undertaking to serve your country and also your community, so I appreciate that. So if there's no further comments, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Hands up for ayes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lorraine?
Got it.
Old Town?
Got it.
Bourgeois? Melvin? And Grow. Looks like you got it. You'll be micromanaged on Monday, I guarantee you.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Mr. Hunt.
All right, moving right along, number 56, resolution approving a commercial card application and agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and J.P. Morgan Chase, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. Second by? No second? You second it? Okay. Who needs a commercial card from J.P. Morgan Chase? Mr. Bourgeois.
It's my understanding that they regularly put these things out to bid for a credit card that we're going to use, and they put it out to bid, and this is the best thing. But it's my understanding it's just periodic, that whatever credit card they put out to use, it's routine.
Okay. So this would replace any standing credit card purchase system we have now?
That's my understanding. It's like whatever the regular purchase cards are for the parish, that this will replace it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
could we have,
Finance
Mr. Hood?
Director? Yes, sir.
This was, I was approached by this bank, and I was informed that Renita and administration had looked into this last year. And what this is a rewards card. And these people shopped a lot of our vendors and did a lot of investigations. I worked with a similar situation with this before with another company. And what it is depending on your spending, you get a percentage of earning points that you get back that is converted into dollars after 1 year of being in the program. And with their investigation of our vendors, what they do is they go out and they investigate, because they do it across the United States, so they know what particular vendors participate in the program, and you get a percentage of dollar points, I guess you would say, reward points, based on the amount of money you spend. And for instance, if we would spend $10 million on the card, we can get anywhere from $150,000 to $160,000 back.
Okay, so it's a reward card.
Yes.
That's all we needed to know.
And can I, one more, please?
Go ahead.
Just as an idea, I guess a selling point, just with our waste management, who accepts the cards, that would put $6 million towards that $10 million goal.
All right, thank you for clearing that up. Any other comments? Go ahead, Jerry.
Are y'all currently paying bills with credit cards right now?
It is not a regulatory process of us paying a card, so it would involve.
Are you
us-
currently paying the solid waste that you
No.
just mentioned with a credit card?
No.
Gentlemen, I have to go against this because it doesn't leave enough paper trail to watch something that goes on. So I'm going to be voting against it. I think we need a check. I think we need to have a checking account when we pay bills. I think it'll be a handwritten check, just like we've always been done. I don't think government should start paying things with credit cards. That's my opinion. We're not doing it now. I don't see why we need to start doing it.
How hard would it be to audit a credit card account, though, compared to a checking account? It would be the same type to audit, right?
I don't know the process on that.
I mean, look, when you make an expenditure, it comes out on whichever software you're using. Mr. Bogler, do you want to? So, yeah, I don't think it would be different using a credit card to pay bills versus a checking account. There's still a ledger involved in everything in the process. Ms. Posito.
The threshold, the annual threshold is $1 million before you get a rebate. Am I reading that correctly? So it is I mean, we have to commit to spending $1 million on a credit card to even receive, unless I'm reading this incorrectly, am I?
I believe there is a threshold, but I apologize, I forgot my.
Government achieves the minimum annual total charge of $1 million required to earn an annual volume incentive. Then Chase
Right,
will pay
to-
Lafourche Parish government a
In order
rebate
to get
annually.
the full incentive from it, correct. To get the rewards back, yes,
So it's not a
Yeah.
rewards card unless we spend $1 million.
correct.
Wow.
What interest rate? What's the interest rate on this card?
I'd have to look at it and see, it's between,
So you're
again,
gonna
it
propose
depends- it
something as the
depend-
financial director of the parish, and you're not even gonna know the interest rate of it?
Hopefully we pay it off every month.
I don't let my kids spend money on a
It
credit
depends
card
on the
without
spending.
them knowing the financial, the percentage rate. Here you are, the head of the Department of Finance, and you wanna get a credit card and don't know it? That's sad.
It depends on the spending.
All right. Mr.
So I
Yeah.
do know.
All I was gonna say, I don't see any harm in getting a credit card. I think we'll be hard pressed finding some vendors. I mean, if you talk about solid waste, I don't think they're gonna wanna take a credit card and pay those fees, you know? So I think we'll be hard pressed finding $1 million, place to spend $1 million, they'll take credit cards, so. But I still don't see anything wrong with having it, you know?
Mr. Bourgeois.
I'm gonna make a couple comments. First off, I do business with several other parishes in the state. Most of them do pay on a credit card. And as a vendor, Mr. Grow, I like to take the credit card because I normally get paid in 4 days as a contractor. 4 days. Then the parish or the other government entity, they have the 30-day cycle to pay it. That's why it's advantageous. The vendor gets paid right away, and then the parish has, or the, whatever entity's got about another 30 days to fund it. As a vendor, I'll love it because I get money right away and what have you. And it's pretty much the norm. The federal government, it's called the GOVCC, stands for Government Credit Card. I've got it right in my accounting program, all of that. It's the way that a lot of this is going. I was resistant as a business owner to take it at first, but the fact that I got money in my bank account in days, vendors will seek it out and they'll want to do that.
All right.
I just think we need to know a rate.
Yeah, that, I mean, that
look,
is some good
I found
questions.
the rates right here, 2.5% on cash advance. Hopefully nobody does cash advance. You never know. International, 1.5. Late payment charges on it's a 1%. It don't say, annual rate. $75 annual fee per card.
Oh, it's fee-based cards.
I think they, approving 30 cards. I don't know why we need 30 people with cards.
Tommy needs 5.
Wait, I'm just trying, I can't vote for it.
All right, we're moving this to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Show of hands on ayes. Fails 5-4. I mean 4-5. All right, moving right along to section M, questions for.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider action on item number 9 that we deferred.
We discussed that after you left. He's going to write an email this week and clarify
Okay.
for all the council members what the move is, where's it coming from, and where's it going to, so we can revisit it.
Okay. We did the same vote pretty much on item 18. That's why, and he was just trying to get your attention. If y'all worked it out, it's fine. We were moving quite along, and he was trying to get your attention to explain it. But
Go ahead, Carol.
I explained to the chairman that yeah, there is a way that you could present it on the ordinance where you, instead of using the account header, you can use the actual line item account that it's going into, and then it would have shown what Mr. Jones was asking for, where's the increase, and I said it wrong earlier, 001, in recreation. It would show the increase. So what we're going to do is I'll get with Renita, and I'll formulate the explanation to make it a little clearer to see. But like Mr. Bowe had mentioned, yes, the same. That's just how they're written. But since we made the amendment to it, I understand the question, and we'll clear it out and send it in an email. And if need be, we can discuss it in the next meeting as well.
We appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you. Section M, questions for the administration. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I got a question for the finance guy, since we on credit cards here. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, I was in the auditor office, we were looking into Munis, and seen a couple of checks, one for $25,000 and one for $13,777, made out to President Cantrell. Can you tell us what those checks was for? What's the reason this purchase was made?
That was not purchases, that was back pay for what was found to be miscalculation of Mr. Cantrell's pay for 2016. And I believe.
You said back pay for 2016, last year?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, what was those amounts?
One was for $25,000 and one for $13,777.
$25,000 and $13,000.
$777. Huh?
That's $38,777.
One for $13,779.31.
Okay.
And the other one for $25,000. And you saying it was from 2016?
Correct.
Now, where did we do a supplemental to pay this money?
Who approved it?
It was budget the budget amendments from the, what they call it, the abolishment of the departments that were,
Abolish.
the abolishment of the communications and I think the grants and development.
So what you
No.
just said was, I'm sorry, sir.
No. You saying you took money out of grants and paid this money?
The obligated money was moved back.
The
into
obligated
general-
money.
Into the general,
But did this council take that de-obligated money and obligate it to Jimmy Cantrell?
not that I'm aware of.
Or who approved that?
That was administration.
I would like to make a motion to send this to the district attorney.
I second.
I agree with that. I was told by administration that they had contacted Lisa at the DA's office. She said it was an accounting matter, meaning that it was an accounting error and that we should be able to fix or can fix the accounting error. I have the emails in the backup, but I believe, talking to Tommy before the meeting, that I believe Reggie was already requesting information on the computation. I could be wrong. That's what I was informed, at least.
And you got an email where Ms. Lisa said we can do it. You can
That it
do
was an accounting function and that she doesn't give, well, I don't want to speculate. If I can please just get the
But don't you
emails
think
and
everything that's being
correspondence with you.
paid through this parish is accounting function? And don't you think it has to come to this council? Or you just can, since it's accounting function, you just can write checks out?
Of course, I don't think that.
My motion
Just as
stand.
I question, I'm sorry.
My motion stand to send it to the district attorney.
Just as I question the movement of the deobligated funds, I strongly suggested that we do that without coming to council, just for the record. And we did do it for that matter. That's how that money was moved into place. As far as correcting the error, I was directed by administration as to, and actually for the current and the prior administrator, it was question on whether or not we should rewrite the ordinance. And I was informed that the ordinance is clear as to that we take the average of the sheriff, the clerk of court, and the assessor, and that's what I did based on the salaries that are made available on the legislative auditor's website.
What's the salary of the sheriff?
According to the legislator's website for 2015 was $153,960. Clerk of court $153,413, and assessor $152,640. And that's in accordance with the legislative website.
2017, the salary for the president is $142,502. 2016, $122,341. So another 40,000 would have put the president at 162. So you're still over. How you get that average?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
In 2016, the president's salary is $122,341. The budget for 2017, the president's salary $142,502. All right. So you wrote a check out here for $39,777.31. So how you came up with that figure?
Who came up with the figure?
I don't know.
I did the computation. I was asked to look into it, and I presented it to administration. That's what I'm saying. I have all the paperwork. If I would have known it was gonna be brought about, I would have made copies for everyone. I have copies here with the computations, which I am more than happy to present to the council.
Yeah, we'd like that.
But with where I got it from, the amount, the 38,000 was taken what he was actually paid in 2016, and when recalculating what his salary should have been for 2016, and then taking the difference.
2016.
And what he was short paid. Correct.
My motion still stand. Send that to the district attorney.
All right, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. Okay, the math should be easy to figure out, and we trust you did it correctly on the averages. But my question is, why were 2 checks cut? If you figured out an amount that we was shorted, why were 2 checks cut? Was one for the first half of this year and one for last year?
No,
Was any
sir.
of it for 2017?
I'm sorry. Yes, part of it was for 2017 as well, but it was not, that's not what created the split. What created the split was I got an email from Christie in HR, and Munis did not allow her to make a check payable in payroll for above 25,000.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yes, there is.
You prorated 2017 money, and you gave him a check for what in 2017?
The 2017 portion consisted of 9 pay periods.
So he's getting pay advance for 2017?
Cash advance
No,
you giving him?
no, that's from the first of the year to the last payroll period when this was computed. It was for the short pay that he had on those first checks of the year. Those checks should have been $567.43 more.
For a man that campaigned on not taking a pay raise, boy, he's sure trying to get a lot of money out of the human resources. Go ahead.
On the, to answer that, I had questioned that before because I was getting questions about his scholarship that he was doing. So I asked Mr. Cantrell, and I remember, this is months ago, maybe last year, that he did say that he had to take the money and then he'd be able to donate it back. So I don't know if he was trying to maybe take less. I think we need, it doesn't pass the sniff test for me. I think we need to get the DA to look into it. But to answer the thing about the campaign promise was to not take the raise that happened, and he said, well, you know, you have to take it. We can't just pay you less. So he took it, and then he's supposed to be doing some scholarships throughout the parish, but I'm not really sure about all that. But that just answers your question.
Yeah, Lucy.
Carol, so on one day, I don't have the date in front of me, so on one day, the parish president walked out of the Thibodeau building with 2 checks for almost $40,000. And is your signature on those checks as well? Who signed the checks? Is it one signature or 2?
My signatures are not on the check. The ordinance
Who
reads
signed
that the
it?
human,
So he had a
I
paper
don't
check,
get
or
payroll
was this
checks.
direct
I'm not a
deposited?
signer on any of the accounts.
Okay,
I don't
yeah,
process it, yes, ma'am.
because if you understand this looks,
Yeah, it takes 2 signatures. It would be
so Mr.
those
Cantrell signed it.
signatures on payroll checks. I know on payables over a certain amount, it's Mr. Cantrell and I believe Ms. Renita.
Carol, you know, I think you're a stand-up guy. I really think a lot of you, and I think you just, this looks odd. I don't think and you were instructed to do this. Were you instructed by whom?
I was looked by Mr. Cantrell to investigate the computation of
Did anyone check your numbers?
his
Did you have Renita
salary.
or? Did anyone check your numbers?
The HR director is the one that is the one that's supposed to calculate it. So when she came in, I approached her with it. She was, and I found out she was already inquired about it by administration. And so I went over the numbers with her, showed her where I got it from, read the ordinance, and the ordinance clearly says the average of compensation of the three municipalities. I'm sorry, my mouth is getting dry.
Do you feel
The sheriff-
confident you did
I
the
feel
right
confident,
thing?
yeah, absolutely. Going by that ordinance, yes.
And for the parish president to leave with 2 checks of almost $40,000 to, and you feel confident
If
that,
it is a back pay accounting error following the ordinance, yes. Yes, and I mean, I welcome the opinion of the DA, from my understanding, and I was
do
told
you have the ordinance number?
that day.
Which ordinance?
It's from 2014, ordinance number 5444.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
You stated earlier that, and good luck. You stated earlier that the administration approved it. Give me a name. Somebody told you to approve it. Give me a name.
Oh, who asked me to look into it was Mr. Cantrell.
Who
I sat
told
with-
you
I
to
sat-
approve the money,
Approve the payment?
the payment?
That would be the current administrative,
The current,
interim administrator.
what's his name?
Tommy and Mr. Cantrell.
Tommy Lassane.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Now we're
Yeah.
starting to get somewhere.
But I thought you had said that already.
When you investigated and calculated the current pay scale of the assessor and the sheriff and was it the clerk of court, I believe?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all ever have any discussion with the assessor on her payment, on her salary?
I got them, aside from just taking it off the legislative auditor's website, I got them also to send me emails, which I do have that I can submit as well.
Did her email in any way tell you that she gets extra pay because she had certifications that are not available to the parish president?
I don't think the emails said that, but speaking to someone in her office, Rochelle, I believe her name is.
Yeah, familiar with the name.
Had mentioned something about that, but the ordinance, and hey, I could have gotten it wrong. I'm not swearing up and down, but
So,
to me,
we went off the
to me, a
website.
salary is compensation.
What's that?
So it says for her compensation is the stated amount.
I don't think that the way it's written that Mr. Cantrell should be getting, if the sheriff got accreditations through Sheriff's Association and that's a bonus, I don't think that's how that calculation should be worked. However, I just have trouble knowing that y'all wrote a check because y'all knew the threshold was 25,000, that y'all wrote one for 25,000 and y'all came back the same day and wrote another one. That is so troublesome.
That is not what happened.
You just said that's
We
what
were
happened. You
unaware
said that
that
the human
I was-
resource said she knew she couldn't write a check. When she tried writing a check, it wouldn't allow her past 25,000. So she wrote one for 25,000. Then she wrote another one. There's a reason for that. Because anything above 25,000 needs to come in front of this board right here.
We submitted it, well, I didn't, HR submitted it, and then HR sent it out to Emily, myself, and Tommy and Sonia, stating that a check in that amount it can't be written, the most they can write is 25.
What was the salary
That's why.
what was the combined salary in 2016 of the three? What was the salary if you took the three and divided it? What was the salary of 2016 for those three?
The average.
For 2016,
Yeah.
the average was 157, 255.
What was budgeted by this council for the salary of the parish president in 2016?
I mean, I don't have that in front of me, but I believe it's around 140-something, 142.
You have it, Reg?
142,502.
How much?
142,502.
So anything above that needs to come in front of the council. All right? What was budgeted for 2017 for the parish president?
That was
I believe,
2017.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
17. What was 16? I don't think they were the same.
122,341.
So that's a significant amount difference. I just think that y'all did things without the proper way, and I'm gonna reiterate. I think this needs to be looked into. It's a sad day for Lafourche Parish that we're gonna do things like this and write checks. And then a little while ago, you said for 2017, it was 9 pay periods, nine payments or whatever, 9 months of payments. Is that how you
Not
said it?
9 months, 9 payroll periods.
9 payroll periods. Okay,
Yes.
so that's 4 months. All right. I just think we need to have the district attorney look into it.
I agree.
And
We'll
look,
make that request
I know you
tomorrow.
caught in a gunfire here, but that is your position. Was anybody else asked to sign off on that? Do we know of anything else? Anybody else in your office asked to sign on it? That you signed on it? You didn't know who the names were. You don't know who
No, I
signed the
didn't.
checks.
I'm not in payroll, I'm not in HR.
You are in charge of finance,
Yeah,
though,
but
correct?
HR, you asked who signs the payroll checks.
But you are in charge of finance, right? So you should be on top of any spending whatsoever that goes through this parish.
That's why I was on this, yes. And that's why I investigate, that's why I asked them to get an opinion from the DA.
But you can't even say who signs payroll checks.
I don't get a payroll check.
But if I was in charge of the department, I would know who's signing those checks.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Jones, go ahead.
Yeah. I'd like to know one thing. If you wasn't trying to hide something, why wasn't this brought to the council? I mean, if our internal auditor wouldn't have been doing his job, looking into munis, we probably would have never knew this. So why wasn't this brought to the council? Just notify the council.
I agree. It's,
You agree?
yeah, it's not my decision to go on it. I went to my superiors, my boss, and performed and was asked to look into it, and I did my research on it, and I read the ordinance and proceeded forward. I was asked by Renita, is there going to be money to cover that increase in his salary? And I said the budget amendments that we are getting from the abolished departments is where they plan on creating a budget amendment to move the money forth into place to cover it. At that point, I guess I should have investigated it more, but coming from Renita, it sounded like to me as if the money was in place, then it would be satisfactory.
Now, let's clear this up. You said you spoke with Renita?
Yes.
And she said you can do it, or the money was in place?
It was the money in place, and I told her the money was going to be put in place from the budget amendment.
Was going to be put in place from a budget amendment?
Right, which we had gotten, well, administration had gotten, that's what I was speaking of earlier, the opinion from both Stagney and the DA about the moving of those funds from the deobligated departments, which, again, I have emails of correspondence between the DA and Stagney and administration to cover myself.
My motion still stands on the floor.
Go ahead, Ms.
second.
Lucy.
I hope this helps you understand why we're reluctant and why we're nervous about putting someone in place. That make sure if something doesn't seem right, make sure you don't sign your name to it. It's out of concern for you, not out of lack of confidence for you. I hope you get that. Because if I would have had a drainage project in 2016 and all that was budgeted was $122,000, and in 2017, more money was required, the administration, although there's money in the general fund to pay it, could not have just went ahead and paid that for that project. That would have had to come before the council, and it would have had to have been approved. I don't see how this is different. I don't see how this amount of money can be cut, a check two checks can be cut. This isn't a witch hunt. This is a really common sense thing to me that we all know there's change orders done every day. If that money was budgeted in 16, then nothing, a dime over should not have been paid, much less 40 grand. So, sir, good luck to you, and please be careful.
You might become parish president soon.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I mean, I don't think anybody's questioning your integrity, maybe your judgment a little bit, but I mean, he mentioned, let's get it looked at by the DA. Let's get it looked at, let's move for adjournment. Or vote on you.
Thank you. We need to vote
We're
on
not
that motion.
done yet.
Vote on that motion, please.
So you presented a motion to ask for a DA's opinion regarding the two checks that was cut to President Cantrell. Do we need any more details on that?
Without coming before council.
Let's write it down so we can read it.
The budget amount in 2017 is 142,505. 122,341. Yeah. And thank you, Reg, for the good job.
We did good hiring that guy. 2016 and 2017. All right. And who seconded it? Yeah. All right, you want to read it?
We're going to have a resolution requesting the Lafourche Parish District Attorney to render an opinion on as to whether the two checks which were cut for the time period 2016 and 17 for the Lafourche Parish President, was that able to be done without coming before the council? And I'm going to dress it up a little bit.
I think you ought to add in there and look into if there's any criminal neglect in there or some kind of way, intent.
You just want to add about criminal intent? That's true, because it's coming from the floor.
Okay, I'll make the request tomorrow formally as chairman. Okay. Pull second? All right. No, I am not, Daniel. All right, I sure will. Section O, discussion. Any further discussion? Being none. Section P, adjournment. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. All in favor? We are adjourned. 8:31.